I've always done three of them.
I'll put my clothes back on. Oh, we're live. Oh, too late.
Oh, damn it. They caught us in the menage. Oh, wait, we're missing one. All right, so this is Are You Board Game Glamorous? I changed the name of that.
All right. I was looking forward to coming up with a response for garbage.
You want to be garbage? We can make it garbage.
I'm garbage. I'm yesterday's garbage.
You're yesterday's garbage. And this is Barry Doublet. Who are you, Barry Doublet? What do you do?
Hi, I'm Barry Doublet. I am the other half of the Burky and Badger Board Game Babble podcast. There you go. Yes. There you go. That was the short version. The slightly longer version goes by the kind of route of I used to be a board game reviewer. I was actually a board game piss taker. I took piss out of Tom Vassell, who then contacted me and asked me if I wanted to do stuff for him. So I did some reviews for him. So I was reviewer for a while. And then my life changed quite a bit. And I had to stop that, and I had to stop my job, and I became now I'm a full-time musician, sound designer, creating music and sound effects for board games and role-playing games.
Ooh. How'd you get into that, Barry? How'd you get into the soundtrack stuff?
How did I get into the soundtrack stuff? Well, let's talk about at the very beginning. Let's go to Last Night on Earth, which was a board game. I take it you know.
Yeah,
it's next to Arkham there. Flying Frog Games, they do soundtracks with their board games, a CD. They have a friend, Mary Kay something or other. I can't remember her name, so apologies. But I was... this is cool. This is what I want, because when I play board games, I normally put like a soundtrack on, or I put on my BBC sound effects album while playing a game. But obviously, it matches the game that we're playing. I was like, this is a good idea. I might just, for myself, make a version of a zombie game. Mm-hmm. To replace the one in Last Night on Earth, because it's based on the original film from George R. Romano, and I'm more of a 80s horror fan, so I love like John Carpenter and Evil Dead. So I created my own soundtrack at home in my own free time called Last Night, which I then published. And that was the start. I did that, and that was like my pleasure that I pleasured myself with. Not to sound too dirty.
We all like to pleasure ourselves here and there.
Yeah. And I was into board gaming. I was reviewing at the time. I was going to Essen every year, talking to publishers. And I was doing an interview with Bruno Sutter from Serious Pulp, who had just done their Kickstarter, The Seventh Continent, and I was interviewing them. And in the interview, he talks about, there's going to be a soundtrack with the Kickstarter and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And I remembered it. And after the interview had finished, I spoke to him about the soundtrack. I said, oh, who's doing the soundtrack? And he said, that's the funny thing. The guy that was doing the soundtrack had to jump out. And I was like, okay. I know some people, and I was going to list off some people that I knew to do a soundtrack for him. And it didn't occur to me to say that I myself might be able to help. And it was like the last minute thing. I said, well, actually, I could do one as well. And he said, okay. And so I sent him the link to, Spotify of my Last Night soundtrack. And he got back to me and said, yeah, okay. Unfortunately, you haven't got much time left. You've got like 3 or 4 months. And and that was it. I as I said, my life had changed. I'd lost my job. Well, I had to quit my job due to tennis elbow and golfer's elbow playing up, and I couldn't do the repetitive snipping of the vineyards. So I spent 3 months, 4 months doing this soundtrack for them, and that was it. That opened the door. And also I had, as I said, at Essen, I would go around and see publishers, and it was like a case of afterwards, okay, I'm going to speak to everyone and see if they want a soundtrack or if they, they need me. And luckily, there are companies like Lucky Duck who do board games with apps. And they say, yeah, we'll take a soundtrack as well. And luckily, I have a few friends here and there who managed to get my name in the door, and I've done a few other soundtracks along the way. So it's kind of gone from there.
Ooh. Yeah, it's amazing how many people you meet in this hobby and what happens from them meetings.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that the other day with Board Game Geek. How many people they've connected. Scott in general.
Yeah.
And where that led to. How it's affected the hobby and how it's helped the hobby grow so much.
Oh yeah, I mean the BGG site is just a wonderful way to connect to people, and just even if you're just typing little 10-word reviews of games with your score, it gets, you express yourself that way, and then people do see it, and some people do actually contact you and say, oh, I've heard this game was good. Thank you for your words of advice. And I've actually played it and it was really good. Thank you. And that really kind of touches base and makes you feel so good.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. So before we get into Are You Glamorous, how'd you get it? How'd you start in the hobby?
How did I start in the hobby?
Yeah, were you a kid? Was it around when you were growing up, or?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. So my mum's family were card players and bridge players and whist players. So every Sunday, when Sunday was a Sunday, life has changed so much. Sundays used to be nobody worked.
Yeah, everything.
And so every Sunday we would see both grandparents, and her grandparents. Her parents were card players, and so it would be tea, cake, and they would all play cards. And so it was, as a kid, you're playing with your cousins, but at the same time, when you get a bit older for your cousins, and it's like, oh, what's this you're doing, and how does that work, and what 7 can change the suit? It's like, okay, right, fine. So I've always had card games embedded into me head. But also board games, because my parents would play sometimes on a Sunday a board game. It would be Monopoly or Scrabble or Masterpiece, which I kept hold of. And so that was it. The board game was in me, and it was like the best time that I had with my parents, because we were on a level playing field. Yeah. Normally your parents are like, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. Eat your greens, eat those Brussels sprouts, or I'll poke your eyes out and you'll eat them. But that was every time. Yeah. Well, they weren't like that, but
I know, I'm messing with you.
I'm just trying to inject a bit of stupidness.
I know.
But it started from there, and then later on in school, well, no, not in school. Sorry, when I got my job, I would spend my earnings, my weekend pocket money in town, normally buying CDs and videos. But there was a Games Workshop in town, and there was it was nice. I walked past it all the time and looked at all these minis and stuff, and they're all painted, and you see these guys dressed in black. I don't know if they've been to a funeral or something, but that they were all in there. And I went in one day and asked around, and I asked about the game that they're playing. They say, "Oh, it's Warhammer, blah 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 blah." And goes, "Oh yeah, it looks kind of cool and complicated." And then this member of staff suggested this board game version of this kind of fantasy game called Hero Quest. And so, 30 quid. Why not? Picked it up. That was it. Every weekend, I'd have my 3 friends round. They would play the heroes. I'd play the bad guy. And we'd do this campaign going from one mission to the next. And I was like, that's it. That's it. I was hooked. But it was like a big 20, 30 years of nothing after that. When you get on with your life, you get your job, you do things, girls, no girls, video games, girls, video games, rock band, lots of girls. and then I meet my wife, and I move out. And we when you're young, you rent places and you move from this apartment to that flat to a house. And every time we moved, I'd take my board games with me, and I'd be looking at Hero Quest and Space Crusade, and I go, I need to get back into this. I need to get because with your girl, you forget your friends, and so it's like, I want to get my friends back round. Let's play a game. And and that was it. I moved to France, and I moved my collection again, and it was like, I want to play, but I can't play this with French people. They can't read English.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of Dice Tower and a lot of Board Game Geek, and that's when I found Euro games. That's when I found that I could, just play these games with anybody, teach them pretty quickly, even with very minimal language, and actually learn the French language myself. So that's the long-winded story.
That's the long-winded story.
Yeah.
It amazes me, like, before when I did the sit-downs, people always play. I didn't grow up with board games. Like, we had some kid games when I was younger, but that wasn't. My grandfather played Pinochle all the time, but that was it. Like, there was no Hero Quest or any of that. Yeah, there was Connect 4 and stuff like that.
But... Yeah, I grew up on all that as well. There's Battleships, Connect 4, Staying Alive, Guess Who, all those MB games.
Yeah, we had like the kids game, the Mousetrap and Monopoly, stuff like that, but not in like the more modern stuff, like the Access and Allies. Even that, like, I was in my teens, late teens, early 20s before I even knew that existed. And then I looked at it and said, no, that's too much for me. It's just too many pieces.
Yeah.
Which I recently got into it. I think it was a missed opportunity when I was younger, but it just amazes me how, like, a lot of the people I talk to, they had that in their life. They had a game night or something with their family. That just wasn't in my thing. Or they played D&D with their friends on the weekends. I heard of D&D, but I never played it. I still haven't. Yeah.
Lucky you.
Lucky me.
All those hours you saved of not getting writer's cramp from keep changing your stats and
I was doing working most likely with the other time, but I'd rather be playing games, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, the bot's here. We gotta watch what they're saying now. Koopy's here. The bot.
No.
She wants to know what got you started in playing music.
What got me started playing music? Hey, Kabuki. I see the comments. It's what got me started playing music? Good question. Apparently, according to my parents, my dad had a guitar, kind of like Hank Marvin, red and white kind of thing. Don't ask me about guitars. I've got guitars. I don't know what they're called. I don't know what I just play them.
Yeah.
Apparently I picked up my dad's guitar and I was pissing about on it, and that was it. I think it's like a parent thing. You see your kid do something once and they do it for like more than 10 minutes, and it's like, okay, right, we're buying you a guitar. We're going to send you to guitar school. Because that's what happens with my wife. My wife is like that. My kids do something for like 5 minutes, and she's like, okay, right, yeah, that's it. We're Christmas, you're buying everything for that. There you go, horse. You want a horse? There's a saddle. There's the whip. Yeah, but that was it. And then from 8 years old, I had classical guitar lessons. Unfortunately, I cheated. I never read the music. I played by ear. And every kind of like track of music that we were taught, I could find somewhere. I either had a friend who had a cassette of it, or I knew it from in my memory, the amount of music that I used to listen to. I heard it from the radio or something, and I was able to just like from memory just find the notes somehow and then play it back. Yeah, that was how I found music. And so my parents just bought musical instruments for me. I had an uncle who played in a band, a very well-known band. Apparently, he keeps telling the story of when he was the warm-up act for the Beatles at their first gig, or the second gig, or something like that. Yeah, so he
before Ringo.
Yeah. So he played with the Beatles. Yeah, happy birthday, Uncle Colin, as well. He turned 81.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah. So yeah, and then I got the 4-track recorder, which takes normal cassettes, and it takes the left and right channel from side A and the left and right channel for side B, and just makes it all side A.
Yeah.
And I was just like layering guitars and really crappy Casio keyboards on top of each other, and then I get a microphone. And me and my friends were very much into Monty Python and kind of like radio shows, a bit like the Goons. I don't know what you have in America, but
you don't have many more now. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And because we were kind of theater guys as well, we do parodies of things that we love, like Star Wars, Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, and our biggest thing was Star Trek. And so we'd get the mic and we would just pretend to be the characters, make up a story. I'd record it all on one track, and then I had all these other 3 tracks to play with, so I'd put sound effects on them. So there was a Star Trek game out for the Amiga, so I took the sample off of that, the bridge, and then I had as I said, BBC sound effects records, and I'd put BBC sound effects records, and we'd beam down to a planet, and then there'd be the Doctor Who TARDIS, which was actually one of the tracks on the sound effect record. So, and my curiosity of mixing sound and came from there as well. So it's just like it was just a self-taught thing. Nothing to do with board games.
No,
you're lost for questions now, aren't you, Barry? You're just
I can see if you're garbage with anything.
Yeah.
I used to be a blue collar worker. I know some language.
Okay. Yeah.
I used to build houses. Damn it.
Yeah, that's something I wish I could do. Build a house.
Anybody. It's like anything. You need to learn the lingo and the skills to build off of. But you could do anything if you
lining the bricks up and putting the right amount of cement in and making sure that the strings straight.
Yeah, there's that. There's some structural stuff too, but
I used to watch my dad do it. My dad was a bricky, so yeah.
We didn't have. Surprisingly, we're Irish. We didn't have any of that in my family.
No,
a lot of carpenters, plumbers, truck drivers, a lot of military, but no bricklayers, which surprised me. Like I said. Over here, it's usually it used to be a lot of Irish and Italians were the main people for bricklaying, for masonry in general.
Yeah, because they can see straight. Or
well, before we start drinking for the day, that's what it is.
Oh, you had Kabuki says you had a 4-track recorder in a school. They were great.
Yeah, that's where I see it in school. Something like
I've still got one. I've got a test cam just down here. And I've still got all my cassettes from when I was like 15, 16 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
I have none of that. I have a bin of my life. It's about this big. Other than like the board games and tools, everything else is in that box.
Yeah. Most of my life is just underneath this table here. So
I was actually thinking about that. We're going to move out of this house eventually, and I was thinking, I do not know if I want to move all this behind me. You
put cool down. You get a spotlight, and you put Mark Alaboom on it, and you beam up in the sky, and then Lance will come round.
Nah, he's slimming down on his collection too. I think it's a phase everybody goes through.
Oh, of course. Reality kicks in.
Yeah. It's well with me, I never really had a game group in the beginning. Like I play with the Secret Cabal guys, uh,
Hmm.
which I would like to get back. I got to contact them again. They're about an hour and a half away though. That's kind of the thing.
Yeah, I know.
But when I got in the hobby, it was all me. I'd look at a game online and buy it and try it. So I then Jen has this emotional thing with stuff. I don't, but certain games I can't get rid of because of her. But at one point, he's like, I don't need all this, so I'm getting rid of it. I'm going to keep what I think I like. The rest is gone, and this is what's left.
Yeah. My wife's the same. It's like, I can't get rid of Azul. I fucking hate Azul, but no, I can't get rid of it. She wants it.
Yeah, I'm like that with a couple Scrabble and Monopoly. There's I hate Monopoly. There's a couple copies of that in his house. If they would if they played by the rules, I think I'd be okay with it. But
Yeah,
they always wanted the free parking and all this nonsense that drags it out for 7 hours. You
you need to get a plaque made. If you play it properly. One of those kind of, it's like a home sweet home thing, or if you want breakfast in bed, sleep in the kitchen.
Now I have to go out in the shop. Oh no, I got a router. I ain't going to all that. All right, so I didn't come up with an opening question this week. Usually I throw the shocker out first.
Yeah, or you can just answer questions from Kabuki.
Okay, yeah, well, let's see. You should have a folio. It wasn't a good one.
Just a garage band, huh?
Garage band.
Garage. You didn't get involved in that in Kabuki. You didn't be a groupie or a lead singer or backing singer.
Yeah, I didn't. Did you do that? Did you go on the road a lot?
I did, yeah. Yeah.
What was that like? Well, you were younger, so I guess you couldn't.
It
was like an adventure.
It took, rewinding. I'm trying to flash the life before my eyes. When I was at school, I don't know if you called it high school, but when I was 12, 13, and 14, we had music lessons.
Mm-hmm.
Real music lessons with a music teacher, and I was like one of two kids in our class that my music teacher took a liking to. The other guy was like a grade A piano player. You whack a piece of music down, he's blah, 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 blah. Ask him to compose something, he's like, what the
yeah.
Whereas I would listen to something and go, oh, that's easy. Axel F was like the thing at the time, and it was like, oh, my music teacher would put it on the cassette. He said, listen to this, right? And then he started writing out the notes on the blackboard. And before he'd finished, I was playing it already, and it was like, yeah, I like you. So the great thing about him is he would give me every summer holiday for 6 weeks in the summer holiday break. He'd give me the best synthesizer keyboard that the school had. They was like that one behind me, that chord there. But I had a DX7 one year. I had my favorite was the Roland HS 101, which had these really cool synth sounds. I was Jean-Michel Jarre, so I'd get my 4-track, and that was it. I would spend my whole summer holiday in my room just making music, not seeing my friends much, and that was it. And I never wanted to be in a band, because I was just doing my own thing, creating my own sounds. And people kept saying, you should join a band, I joined the school band. It was boring as fuck. Everyone was playing the same thing. So you had 5 people playing. Do, 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 do. What the fuck? But it wasn't until I was 20s. I thought, you know what, I'm going to try out. So I tried out to join a band. I didn't get in, but the band fell apart the week later, and a couple of the guys of the band said, hey, we're going to create a new band. And they said, what do you do? And I said, well, I play keyboards, I play guitars. And they said, okay, do you play bass? I said, no. Well, you do now. And so I went out, bought a bass, and became a bass player. And then when the lead singer left, I became the bass player lead singer. And then when the second guitarist left, and there was only one guitarist left, I became the bassist, singer, piano player at the same time. So I was like bass and keyboards and singing at the same time. So we were a 3-piece, sometimes a 4-piece, going around all the pubs playing kind of Metallica, Black Sabbath, Queen. We used to do Bohemian Rhapsody, 3 people. Yeah, it sounds funny, but I programmed my keyboard so the bass was at one end and the piano was at the other end, and so I could do all the piano bits and the bass at the same time. And the guitarist was amazing; he could play almost exactly like Brian May, and the drummer had a very, very high voice, although he was out of time, but it didn't matter. Everyone was too pissed. When the crowd is pissed, they will clap and sing along, and you sound amazing. And you listen back to the cassettes, and you go, "Oh my god, we were shit." But no. But I used to play around in a rock band, and then I had an offer to join a duo to make it a trio, and so I was doing all the social club events. So it was the very nice. Oh, I can't swear. I have to look smart instead of wearing combats and a t-shirt. That devolved as well into a duo where I got to program all the music, and luckily all the music was 80s pop songs. So I was like, yeah, this is cool. And we were really taken off. Everyone kind of loved, dancing to Relax and dancing to Axel F. It is Axel F torture, that Kabuki. But I did a lot of gigging up until the point where I left for France, so 2010.
Okay.
And thank God for that, because the other guy was getting fucking annoying.
Yeah.
And there's no chance of him watching this video, so I can say that. He was getting annoying. He was telling me what to do, and I'm like, look, I'm the one that spends like 20 hours a week programming these fucking songs.
Yeah.
You just get up on stage and sing. So, got to the end.
All right, so we'll let Kabuki start off your garbage questions. What was the first modern board game you played?
Define modern. Catan? Carcassonne?
Carcassonne?
Yeah.
Okay.
But then again, when I bought Hero Quest when it came out, so that was modern when it came out in 1989. Heroescape, I bought that. That was modern when it came out. But it was probably Catan was probably Catan was the first game. Not Catan, sorry. Carcassonne was the first game I bought in France because language independent,
right? Simple
puzzle game, but it blew me away. And then the expansions, and it was like, wow, this game never gets boring until everyone is bored apart from you, and it's like, do you want to play Carcassonne? And they're like, we're gonna get drunk.
So you got languages this year. What kind of board games do you present at a group over there? The odd man out.
It depends, and when you get to know the people that you're with, you know what kind of game to introduce. So, for example, if I'm going to introduce a game to my neighbors who are like about 5-10 years older than me, it'll be something simple. It'll be a party game. And in fact, they surprised me the other week when they brought out a game of what's it called? Bruno Salter and I can't remember what it's called now. But it's kind of surprised me because they're not really gamers. And they pulled out this game, and I said, you know what? I know the designers. I'm actually working for them because they're the designers at Serious Pulp. I'm still trying to think of their little tiny game that they come up with, their word game. I can't think what it's called. But yeah. But it depends on the group. If it's with my family, they will pretty much play anything, but not anymore because they're fed up. You know, when you're a reviewer, you're playing something new every week, and they're having to learn the rules and play with me, and it's like, and they just got to a stage where it's just like, no more.
My wife got like that.
So luckily they will still play. So my wife would love to play Pastiche with me or Splendor with me. My daughter yesterday actually played Defenders of the Realm with me. And we almost beat it for the first time out of like 50 odd games. So almost
getting better.
Getting better.
All right. I'll go with the obvious. You're hosting.
Did that answer the question? That's the question. Did I answer the question? I kind of waffled. I'm in a waffling mood.
Carcassonne.
Okay.
These are basically just talking points. They're really not. It's so if you're having a game night, what snacks are you serving?
Sorry, what's
You're hosting a game night. What kind of snacks are you serving?
What kind of snacks am I serving? It'd be French snacks. It depends. It depends on the time of the day.
Cheese and wine.
So like, let's say friends were coming around at 7 in the evening. The snacks would be maybe a bowl of sweets, or there'd be bowl of peanuts. What else do we do? Yeah, things like that. But like this weekend, I had my good friend over. It was like, meal. We'll play a game, we'll have a meal, and then there'll be, again, the usual kind of snacks, crisps and peanuts and dried fruit, cake. You make a cake. You go to your friend's house, you make a cake, and you take a cake with you. And then you can have a slice of cake and a cup of tea or a couple of bottles of champagne, wash that down with, some ratafia. And yeah.
2 or 3,
Thank you, Kabuki. Just one. That's the game.
Just
by
one.
Bruno and Rudy. Yeah.
Played that. I got a gap in my about 4 or 5 years. Yeah. I was a little preoccupied with other things. So there's a gap.
Yeah, don't worry about it. You've got a gap. I've got a gap. After I stopped reviewing, it's just like every game is. What's that?
Yeah. So many years.
I know. And so little time to play them
all. So when your family was playing with you, would you let your kid win? Or would you make them work for it?
Good question. I think it's something that I learned is to sometimes let them win. Because they do kind of like lose interest. I know it happens with my wife. It's like all the games that she won the first time she played, she'll play again. All the games that she lost first time, she doesn't want to touch. So like a Zoom, Splendor. Again, she doesn't know what she's doing, but she won. Right. So she goes, "Oh, I must be good at this game. Oh, I like that." And so I think winning is always like a little contributing factor to whether you like a game or not. I know that from reviewing as well. Sometimes I would play games and I would win every time, and it kind of like excited you. Because you were good at it. You felt that you understood the mechanisms and you could talk about it and be proud at the same time. And games that you lost at every time, like I lost at Takinoko every time to my daughter who was 6-7 at the time. And I hated the game because I just found it so luck dependent. She kept going for the panda cards and she would just end the game quickly and end the game with more points than me. And it pissed me off something chronic, but she loved it, which is the thing. And she would always ask to play with it, and that was it. But with time, you kind of like learn that sometimes just letting them win, or again, not just letting them win, but advising them as they're playing. Oh, I would do this if I was you. Right. I mean, my friend Graham does that to me all the time because he's like one of these switched on players. He's not the best switched on player that I've played with, but he always like says, "No, I wouldn't do that if I was you. I'd do this. I wouldn't go that way if I were you."
Yeah, I've been my neighbors' kids. I've been playing with them a lot, trying to introduce them to the hobby, and I find that a lot of times I'll let them win, but not all the time. You know, but I won't destroy them either. You know, it's
no. And again, the best. My recommendation is if you're playing with kids, play a co-op. Definitely the best thing. Whenever I play with my 6-year-old son, player 4. And it's a competitive game. He will kick up a storm when he loses. When he sees that score track and he sees he's so far behind, and he'll cheat to try and get ahead. And then when I say no, you can't do that, and it, boom, boom, boom. But you play a co-op game like Zombicide, boom, it brings out the best in them. It's like, we did it, yay, cool.
Yeah, I actually have noticed that.
Yeah,
I recently introduced them to a co-op. All right. Have you ever been playing with a group of friends? One of the friends went to the bathroom. You moved a piece on them, and waited to see what their reaction is when they came back.
No,
you
don't move a piece. You drink their beer.
Okay.
You drink their beer, or you pick up their phone and just take pictures of weird shit. 100 pictures underneath the table, and so they got like 100 things to delete when they've got time. You don't cheat. My dad would cheat every time. It took years and years and years for me to discover it, but my dad was palming. You'd get £200 for pass and go, but he wouldn't. He would get some amount of money, or however many pieces of paper he could fit into his hand. That's why he would win every time. And every time I played with him, even in his later stages, he would cheat.
But
and it was just like, I don't want to play with you. But at the same time, I want to play with you because I want to have something to do with you, Dad.
Yeah.
How about you? Did you do that? Sorry, I was watching the Sam Healy interview. I was like, I missed that question.
Did I
cheat?
It wasn't cheat. It was messing with them. I moved something on them. It wouldn't affect the game. It's just to make them wonder if they were going nuts. Because they were a little lit at the time. But it wasn't cheating.
Okay.
It had nothing really to affect the board itself. But no, normally I don't tend to cheat. I don't see the point in that. I play solo a lot with Jen. So it's a lot of times I'm just exploring strategies. I'm not even really worried about winning or losing.
Yeah. But you kind of accidentally cheat as well when you're playing alone. You're just like, you forget a rule, and then it's 3 turns later, and you go, "Oh my god, I forgot to do that." Oh well, fuck it, move on.
I get like that. Yeah. Or like you said, I'll accidentally cheat. But if I remember it, I'll bring it up and I'll replay my thing or whatever.
Yeah.
But I never understood people with that drive to succeed at all costs. That's not me. Yeah.
No, you play for fun.
Yeah. And that's what the hobby, even these videos, is just for fun. I'm not looking to make money on this or anything. I'm actually looking at a way to do less editing on it.
It's just fun to hang out and chat.
Yeah, that's why I do these garbage things or glamorous things, or these are people I'm interested in the hobby. People I think are passionate about the hobby. They're not trying to sell you a Kickstarter or something.
No.
It's people I feel like Burky loves. He has a passion. He's a people person.
Yeah, but he's a bit of a salesman as well.
Yeah, he is, but that kind of comes. He's got a company. He kind of comes with that.
Yeah.
I expect that.
Yeah, he'd be like, "Oh, see this bag over here."
Yeah, that's kind of downside of being part of this hobby. There's that point of the hobby. They're always selling something, but it's just the nature of the beast because they're always making something, But
yeah, apart from Scott's not selling anything. That's what I like. That's why I like talking to Scott.
So do I. So yeah, I like
he's
Scott.
a gamer.
He's a good person. Yeah. For the most part, he's a good person. No,
you can't say that.
I always give him a backhanded compliment. I don't know why, but I do. Even when I'm talking about like that, I'll say that shit site you have or something like that.
But yeah, I'll give Lance a backhanded compliment, but never Scott. For some reason, he's just so nice.
He is. He's a great guy.
Yeah, it's just I'm so happy for him.
When I do it, it usually means I like you a lot. I'm warmed up to you.
Yeah.
I'm a lot standoffish at first.
Yeah. I've had a lot of friends like that though. It's like fucking asshole. Oh dear. Anyway.
So have you accidentally bumped the board? Moving a piece or something, caught yourself?
Oh, of course.
Did you rat on yourself?
Of course, I always do.
Okay.
It's like when you stub your toe. It's just like, for fuck's sake. I mean, the early days of Ticket to Ride. It's just like, oh God's sake! You just gotta reach across the table to put your trains on, and your sleeve catches something, or your I don't know if maybe a bowl is next to the board and it moves it, and it's like, oh God's sake! But it's like, if I accidentally hit the board, I'll put myself down. I'm not I can't think of the word. But yeah, I always put myself down. I'm not the greatest musician in the world. I'm lucky to be doing what I'm doing. Extremely lucky. I'm not the greatest reviewer in the world. My comments are just advice. They're not gospel.
Yeah, I always struggle with that part of this. I don't think I'm a reviewer. I just what I think about the game, but I never felt comfortable doing that. It's
and I think there's a lot of people out there that do appreciate that. I think there's a lot of people out there that just they just want to hear honest opinions instead of some salesman, ranting to get more clicks and likes.
Yeah. All right. Have you ever flipped a board? Got so angry you flipped the board?
Oh, I've never flipped the board, but I do get to those points.
Do you?
Yeah. I'm not the perfect person. There are times when I get really frustrated. A couple of weeks ago, I was playing Clash of Rage. Well, I just taught Clash of Rage to my 6-year-old, and he was kicking my ass. And this is a game for 14 years and plus.
So now you made yourself and the kid.
And I did give him actually a boss to start with as well. So it was just like he'd had all this armor, and I couldn't do anything. I couldn't keep hold of the cities. I couldn't keep hold of the smithing things to build the special weapons to get the points. And it got to a point where I was like, okay, that's enough for today. That you've won. I concede. Because inside out, my blood was boiling. It was just, I'm not gonna. But no, never flip the table. And luckily, I've always had friends who I could say sometimes I'm not alone, and sometimes we can say, okay, should we call this the end? Yeah, let's call this the end. Before it gets nasty. No, there's no point. There's a lot of pieces to pick up. When you got a big house and lots of furniture, you're gonna lose pieces.
Especially if you get cats.
Yeah. Then they smell funny afterwards.
How you going there?
I found this in the kitty litter. I think the cat slept on this one. Oh my God. The dogs just had sex with Conan.
Poor Conan.
I was trying to think of a big mini, but I couldn't think of one. So it was just like Conan come to head.
Yeah. All right.
Pew! Sorry, Barry. This conversation is going pew.
It's all right. I was trying to figure out how to recover from it.
Just keep smoking.
That's all. I got to switch to the weed. Have you ever played in the nude?
Have I ever played in the nude? Of course I have.
Hmm.
But I'm not talking board games.
So you were at a concert in the nude?
Yeah, I was playing solo, wishing that wouldn't it be good to not play solo?
It's all to every man since the beginning of time.
Yeah. So no, never played a board game naked. Not even strip poker.
I never played strip poker.
I don't know if I dreamt it or if I did. I can't remember.
I played in my my skivvies a lot. I don't like clothes, so I'm usually in pajamas or my underwear.
Yeah.
I got a lot of nervous stuff going down there on my legs and back. But clothes are uncomfortable.
Yeah. I'm finding jeans uncomfortable with bad back at the moment. So it's like
yeah, that's the first thing I got rid of, the jeans and the wallet. I used to carry in the back pocket. I had one that I get in the side or my shirt or jacket or something.
Yeah, and then the weight of it would just pull your jeans down into an uncomfortable place, and you have to keep pulling them up, and then sometimes you'd bend over, and because they're in the wrong place, it would pull on your muscles, and yeah, I'm going through a lot of that this week. It's like I take the kids to school, get home, take the jeans off, put my pajama bottoms on. In fact, I've got one here, and just work with my pajama bottoms. It's just so much more comfortable.
Yeah, I just did the laundry today, and I had one pair of pants that I wear outside and 7 pairs of pajama pants.
Yeah.
I'll go out once a week.
Yeah, even in the hot summers, I'll have a t-shirt and shorts on, and play a board game. I won't play topless.
Yeah, I usually don't. Nobody wants to see that.
No, nobody wants to see that. And again, the hairs fall off so easily, and then when you pack the game away, and then you open it up, there's get out of here. Strict monopoly, Kabuki. No. Naked Twister is the thing.
Naked Twister?
I think I got told off by Tom Vassell for saying that on one of my videos.
Did you?
Yeah. I got told off a lot from Tom Vassell to put stuff in my videos.
Well, he's got a viewership to follow.
Yeah. I respect that. It's just knowing where that line is. So again, everyone's got a different line.
Yeah. My line's way up. I don't really have one.
I don't have
a me.
I don't have a line. The only line I have is to not have respect for people.
Yeah. Try to be respectful.
Yeah.
But other than that, all right. Well, while we're on this subject, the butt cracking. Let's say you saw a player release a butt cracking at a con. Would you tell them about it?
No. You know what? The only time I've seen a butt cracking is oh crap. I've seen a couple, and they're always in America. I've never seen any in France. I've never seen any in Essen. My first Gen Con, my first and only Gen Con, I saw was several butt crackings while I was teaching. I think it was Batman. Yeah, it was Batman. And it was like, oh God. And so luckily my team was French, so I could just like say in French, regarde les merdes là, oh là là, just oh là là, and I think I saw one at BGG Con, but I've never seen one at Essen. Not even like in the Isles, when sometimes you have these people and they've got loads and loads of bags and they've got loads of games, and they every now and again they have to put the bags down so they can rearrange their new games. Even when they bend over, there's no butt cracking. But then again, I have my Essens are very limited now. It's just like where I work on a stand all the time. I don't get to see a lot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I never worked a con. I don't think I would want to. I thought about it, like volunteering at a table once, but I don't know.
I actually prefer it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I prefer it to actually being a visitor, because the amount of people and having to fight your way, you spend most of your time just fighting to get through crowds, to get to a
Yeah.
table, or to get into a queue to buy something, and it's so fatiguing. Whereas if you're working at a stand, you've got your own space, and then you've got your own table. When someone wants to learn a game, you just sit down with them and you teach them the game, and you've got your space. And then you
Yeah.
have that you have that little kind of bubble around you, and that's why I love working at conventions and shows, teaching people games. Because one, I like playing myself, and actually, I like changing the rules. So in this game of Catan, you're going to roll a dice and try and knock over as many castles as you can. But yeah.
So here's I was watching Access Now Always did a World Series. I think it was the first one last year, and I was
Right.
watching this guy. I can't remember the name of the guy's channel. I just wrote to him. I'm drawing up. It's the weed.
Don't
But
worry. It's
he
the
was
age
doing
as well, Barry. It's the
yeah,
age.
could be. He was doing like a play-by-play of what happened in the games that he was in, and
All
on
right.
one of them, the ref said, "Check your boards to make sure that the starting pieces are there." Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so they did it. They thought everything was in place. Then they start the game, but before I think it was Japan, before they got to their turn, they realized that there was one piece missing.
All right.
Uh, so the judgment said you're out of luck um, from up top because they said we gave you a warning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to how you would have handled that.
In a tournament setting, I would agree. In a game with friends, it'd be different. It would be a
Right.
case of all right, yeah. Oh, there you go. There's your other piece. Let's go again. There are certain lines. People doing take backs and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. But in this case, I don't think it was that. They just missed a piece. It
Yeah,
wasn't like they were starting at a disadvantage to begin with because of that piece missing, how the setup and all that is.
yeah. And
But yeah, I
again,
don't.
at the end of the day, war is war. If you
Yeah,
don't put your guns in the right place and you lose a territory, this your fault for not putting the guns in the right place.
yeah. Yeah, that's how it comes. I was thinking about that. I was going back and forth on it. Like you said,
Yeah.
it's a tournament. You gotta, they're the final word and all that. But
Yeah. It's the same as it is any kind of sport. If sometimes you'll have a sport and at least one player will be slightly injured, so they won't be running as fast as they normally do. It's the same kind of thing, isn't it?
yeah. Uh, so
I
so
think.
far.
I think.
Oh no, well, Kabuki's here. I'll let her decide if you're board game glamorous.
I'm not glamorous. I'm lucky. I'm board game lucky.
Board game lucky. All right, what's your favorite secret pleasure game?
Uno.
Uno.
Yep. There you go. Straight out of the bat. I love playing Uno.
Dude,
Don't know what it is about it. Yeah. I mean, it's only like in the past 5 years that I've actually been playing it properly.
Oh,
So no house rules.
yeah.
And it's still good. And I think it's great for the kids to learn as well. And I think that later on, when they get older, and then we reintroduce the house rules. The ones where you say, I can put a +2 on your +2 to make that +4 for the next person.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious. And it also, changes the score completely. But yeah, I like the game as it is. Its original rules are pretty good. I have two slightly different versions. I have a 50th anniversary edition, which doesn't mention about the zeros.
Okay.
Because in my normal version, it says that there's an optional rule for the zeros. Whenever anyone plays a zero, whichever direction the round is going, everyone has to pass their hand to that player. So there's like this whole shift of cards. So like, yeah, you might be down to your last 2, but someone plays a 0, and all of a sudden you passing your 2 on to your opponent, and another opponent's passing you 6 cards. So it's like, there's nothing here. So
yeah. Heard that one.
No, it's in the rules.
It might be. I don't think I ever read the rules to Uno.
Yeah. But that's the thing with life. It's like you'll learn a game, and then you'll teach it, and then you'll teach it again, and teach it again, and eventually one day you'll teach it, and you'll forget a rule, or you'll change the rule, or you'll think that the rule is this, and it's not. And so you've taught the game slightly wrong, and then you've created your own kind of like version of the game.
Yeah.
And then there's nothing worse than someone coming up to you and says, "Oh no, actually," because they got the rule book out. They're sat at the table. You're explaining the book, and they go, "No, actually, you can't do that. It says here." It's like, yeah, sorry, I forgot. It's been a long time since I played this game.
So there's another question. What's the longest you've gone playing a game with the the rules you thought they were, and then found out it was wrong?
A very long time. Oh, I can't even think what it is. Well, definitely I can say Monopoly.
Well, yeah.
Because you were talking about free parking. Free parking doesn't exist.
No.
I don't know what other wrong rules that we played, but there's the rules that my parents taught me. And then that's it. I didn't bother reading the rules, and I didn't bother playing it much. So it's like that's probably the longest game that I played the rules wrong. Let's have a quick scour. I don't think there's. I mean, I could say the 7th continent. Every now and again, there's something that I'll forget. And I'll think that I know that I have to do this. I have to, shuffle 4 cards and draw 1, whatever. And I'll kind of cheat. I'm normally playing solo anyway, but and I still can't beat the game. It's just like, but there are occasional a game that I teach and I'll do a rule wrong. And my good friend Guillaume always is there to like nose through the rule book and say, no, that's not right. Or he'll blame me for his loss because I taught him the game, and then he's looked at the rules afterwards and go, no, I could do that. It's like, next time. We'll play it with that rule next time. Kabuki, do you want me to go and get I'll go and get my Uno to show you which version it is.
Go get the Uno?
We're going to go to a commercial break right now.
We're
going to go to a sponsor, HGG.
Sponsored by BGG? No, BGG's not sponsoring this. It wouldn't be advantageous to Scott. I would love for if it would help him, but it won't.
There you go. That version. Oh, it's deluxe version.
Deluxe?
With the tray.
Let me see here.
And on my printed out English version of the rules.
Well, you need to be able to read?
In Español. Is that Spanish? Dos Jungula. Challenge Uno. 500 points. Scoring. Where is it? Oh, bloody eyes. Getting old.
Yes, you are.
Variant. With 4 players, play 4 hands with each of the other 3 players. Okay. Partners. Special rules. No, I made it up. It's not
you made it up?
No, I can't see it. I know I didn't make it up. I did read the rules like several times, and I was like, we were playing it basically, and I remember seeing the rule there, and I go, should we try it with this? and it made it a lot of fun. Just someone plays a 0 because there's only 4 zeros in the game, where there's like 4 3s and 4 7s and whatever. And you just go boom. You just pass your whole hand on, and it's not in this version, the 50th anniversary edition.
Okay,
I'm looking at box.
Jen has what yours? She has a 30 from Milton Bradley. I was skimming through it. I don't see that in there. I'll look at it later though. Yeah, I never heard of that rule.
No, it might be just this version. That's deluxe French version that I have.
Deluxe.
But anyway, that's my guilty pleasure.
That's your guilty Uno?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played a lot of Uno. Me and my brother played a lot of Skippo too.
Yeah? Skippo, what's that?
It's similar to Uno.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember the exact. It's been a couple of quite a few years since we played Skippo. We were actually talking about that. You went to look for a deck. We were going to take it up to the mountains with us. And he couldn't find one, and he didn't tell me because I think I have one here, but I'm not sure. It's just one of them games that's set for so long. Yeah. But yeah, that's what me and my brother we played when I was a teenager. He's 7 years older than me, but we played Risk a lot and then Uno when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
But other than that, like me and my sister would play. We were closer. We're 18 months apart. We would play Mousetrap and shoot fire and all that. But
my son just got Mousetrap for Christmas, and boy, has it changed.
Has it?
Yeah.
Does it work this time?
I don't know. I haven't tried it, but it came in it doesn't come in a normal box. It comes in you got like the box flips open and it's like it's like an Amazon packaging box. And all the pieces are really kind of this strange plastic. It doesn't look nothing like the Mousetrap that we grew up with. And the board is a weird fold out 4x4 circle instead of a square. So yeah.
That is weird.
Yeah, very weird.
Right. What's your favorite theme or genre in the game?
Oh, good question. I would kind of say fantasy because, of Hero Quest. And I mean, that kind of inspired me to get Hero Quest Advance, and then it inspired me to get Heroescape, and it inspired me to get Munchkin, and it inspired me to buy Descent. So, I mean, I love all that kind of stuff. I love playing Skyrim, the video game, and I love playing Elder Scrolls, was it Oblivion? I just love that kind of fantasy world playing where there's weird orcs and goblins, and you go on a quest, you start here, you level up, you get to... So again, I've played a little bit of Dungeons and Dragons. I would love to play more, but it's just,
Come here, Beaks.
Yeah, I don't know. It's sometimes a little bit... It depends on the group that you're with. I did play once. I played once with some guys from work, and it was a great experience, and it was the worst experience because there was one guy who was a thief, and he would not stop fucking us over by stealing our shit. We'd kill something, he would steal the shit from us. Kind of being a neutral character, a neutral heroic, it's like, I talk to him about it and say, no, can you stop doing this, please? Well, I'm going to leave the party. And it got to a point where he just laughed in my face, and a fight broke out. But unfortunately, he'd stolen all this cool equipment, plus this and plus that, and he killed my character. And I said, right, thank you, goodbye. Game over.
Yeah, that's no fun. Come here, Beaker.
No.
Beaker.
Beaker?
Yeah, he's... Wait, I have two cats. Yeah, that's why I named him Beaker. He's constantly squeaking, and that's why I named him Beaker. The other one, Nudge, I named him that because he's a nudge. He's just a pain in the ass. Yeah.
And the other one is Swedish Chef.
I told Jen she can only have 2. After that, you're a crazy cat lady. 3 cats, you're a crazy cat lady. Come on, Beaks. Well put together here, nowhere.
Yeah. Oh well, cats are one thing. Me.
Yeah.
I'm Dr. Bunsen Honeydew here at Muppet Labs.
Yeah, it's a shame what they did to that franchise. It really was.
What? Sorry, who? Disney?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you like HeroScape, did you ever buy D&D books? No, I didn't buy D&D books. When I started working for Sirenscape, who were doing D&D adventures, they gave me a load of D&D books because I needed to know what all the creatures were and what sounds they would make and stuff.
Right.
So I've got a collection of D&D books, but I haven't played. Not with them.
Yeah, the only one Fantasy Flight did that role playing series. It was like Aliens and then Mother Nature and something else. I read through them and I played one on this, and that was the first and only role playing game I've ever played. That doesn't interest me. I don't think role playing in general, like acting out as a character. That's just not me.
I like it, but sometimes I have trouble shutting up.
No. You?
Yeah, I'm like, even if the part of the adventure is not about me, I will, someone will say something and I'll put in a joke. Or I'll say, maybe you should do that. That would be fun. Maybe you should stick the sword up its ass. But yeah. I like doing it, but I don't know. Just knowing where to draw the line on shut up, let them play. Otherwise, this is going to be a 10-hour game.
Yeah. But
anyway.
That doesn't matter. Hey, come on, Beaks. So before you started getting Kickstarters from companies, what was the most? How much was the most you spent on a Kickstarter?
How much was the most I spent on a Kickstarter?
Probably most expensive.
What was it? 150 for Foundations of Rome? Something like that.
Was it that much?
Yeah, 100, 130, 150, somewhere around there. Yeah. It was always nicer to get a Kickstarter for free.
Yeah.
I'll never forget Batman, the amount of stuff I got for Batman, which is a really good game. I really love it. But yeah. I try not to spend too much. I think I just spent about 120 on the zombie side, Deceased. And again, I haven't spent a lot. I haven't bought a Kickstarter since Burky's 3.5 KS. So yeah, I'm not so. It's nice to see these wonderful big games with the big adventures but campaigns and stuff. But it's like they don't get to the table often. You don't get the same group together to continue playing them. Another one I got was the Skyrim board game, but I didn't go all in. I only got like the $80 base game, but that got played, and we played through the campaign twice. Hated it, but we played the campaign twice. Yeah. It was dull. It was the first half hour is exciting, even if you pause the game and then come back to it, and then that first half hour is exciting, and then it's just like rolling dice. This card again. Oh.
Yeah, I was like that with Gloomhaven.
Yeah.
The first couple were right, and then it was like downhill. Yeah, it was just repetitive.
What about you? So what was the most expensive one that you bought? Gloomhaven?
I haven't bought a Kickstarter in a long time. Blood Raid. No, I got that retail. It was probably an Academy game. It was probably one of the America games.
Yeah.
And I got everything in it. Like it was the Viking one.
All right.
And I got the treaty boards and all that, and I forget, like 120 or something. It wasn't much compared to today's Kickstarters.
Yeah.
I never really. I got a couple bad Kickstarters. Like they were just shitty games in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's happened to me more often than not. So I just gave up on Kickstarters fairly young in my gaming thing. There
Yeah.
were some that I would automatically kick, like Academy Games and who else? There was a couple of them that I would automatically because I knew I was getting a quality game,
Yeah.
But and then I seen a lot of shit in Kickstarter that
Oh yeah.
I think shyster, a lot of it.
So many people would contact me and say, "Oh, got a Kickstarter coming up. Would you be able to do a video about it?" And it was like, "Yeah, I'll do a video of it." And then you play the game and you go, "Well, what's good about this? What can I talk about?" I'll just explain the rules and that's it. And there was no satisfaction in that. And then it was like, okay, I want to get paid for this now because these rule books are crap. These games are crap.
Yeah.
I'm basically wasting 2-3 days playing the game or learning the game and then filming it and then making sure that the rules are right so I can post the video. And it was like, no, you pay me for this now. I don't want a free game. I don't want a free copy at the end of it. Just, again, as someone who wants to help publishers and designers get the games out, I was offering advice on maybe you should change this, maybe you should do this. This is very flat. This is going nowhere. This game is, not that interesting. This game is basically Uno, but with one card number different. You'd give them advice and they'd be so adamant, and it's like, well, good luck.
Yeah.
Thanks for contacting me, but good luck. And I think that kind of soured my reviewing experience as well. It was great to start with because it was like a new territory. We got this guy on board. He's reviewing our game. He's ripping it apart now. he's ripped it 3 new assholes. We're not going to sell many copies of this game because of this video. Ooh, God. And then there's the scammers who say that they're going to pay you and they don't.
Yeah, I hear more and more about that. I never did that end of it. I only got 1 or 2 things for free. Well, Scott, I tried something with the store. And I was going to send them back to him, but he didn't want it. So I just donated them. Actually, I gave him quite a few to their neighbors. But that taking money for this is, like I said, this is my hobby. So taking money for anything always seemed an invasion to the hobby to me. Then it's more work, and I never wanted to be obliged to do that in this setting. But I don't think people realize how much time goes into when you film something like this. Like you were saying, you got to play the game. I usually did 3 times, a minimum, very minimum. Because the first game was always a fuck up game. The second game, I got it down, and then I feel comfortable showing it to other people. Yeah. But
and again, with the rule book, the rule books were never chronologically right, and so you would have to. Okay, which is the best way to explain this? So you'd explain this bit, then that bit, then this bit there, that in the middle there, and then that bit back at the beginning, and then this bit at the end. And you could only do that after playing the game several times, because it just then flowed as you explained it. The game was not evolving, but it was opening up like an envelope bit by bit. And so people could watch it and go, okay, that happens because of that happens. Oh, that happens because of that happened. And then there was none of this. I'll get to that bit later that you see in Rodney Smith's videos. We'll talk about that bit a bit later. And then we'll talk about that bit, which was about that bit a bit later.
Sorry,
I cut you off there.
Nah, you didn't. The rule books have gotten better, but they're still rough sometimes.
The professional companies do a very good job. When you get those prototypes in, and they're like,
the
boom.
Prototypes are horrible. Yeah, that's why I stopped playing prototypes.
No, but I'm talking about the good companies. When the good companies send you a proto, it's like it's almost a finished version. For example, Le Boîte de Jeu. Whenever they would send me a copy of a game, like they did with Clash of Rage, like they did with Natatanka. It was like the almost finished version of the game.
Yeah.
It was just like the box didn't have the back print on it, but all the components were just like almost the final components. And the rule book was really well written, and it was like, wow, let's play this. Yeah, easy.
Yeah, but like you said, it is a time sink. Then you got the filming and editing and all that.
Yeah. And we're not all Tom Vassell, so we cannot just like take one deep breath and go, camera here, blah 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 blah, and that's the game.
Yeah.
Shaky cam, things out of focus.
Oh, that's always fun. Forget to hit the audio button.
Yeah. Yeah, battery runs out on the microphone.
Oh, everything on mine's plugged in. I don't deal with batteries anymore. Everything's plugged in. Except for Jen got me these headphones, and I still don't know how I feel about it because they'll die. But they last about a week for what I do. But I just forget when I charge them. Sweet. Nah, it's not. Well, partially, but
yeah, Kabuki, it is tough to be a reviewer. But it depends on your point of view of reviewing. I mean, there's some people that just got the gift of the gab and can just like Richard. He's amazing. He knows what he's talking about, and he stumbles a lot before he gets back onto the right track. But when he gets on the right track, he does say the most amazing things, which, you know, kind of like go, wow, this game is for me, or this game is not for me. That's something that I've never had. I'm just a babbler. And it gets to the point where I'll make a fault and then I'll take the piss out myself for making that fault. And then I'll use that fault as a reoccurring joke later on in the video. So it's like, that was kind of like my gimmick. It was just like, you know, this is improvised, basically.
Yeah.
And then there's people like Tom who just, you know, again, naturally, they've done this for so long that the words just fall off their mouth, and they have their opinion. And if you like his review and you like his opinion, then you know what you're looking for. You're either going to decide that game's for you or for not. And then there's people like us who, you know, we just want to give our honest opinion. It's just like having this extra voice, isn't it, really? I mean, I've never considered myself to be a person that's like, this is gospel, this game is amazing, go get it. It's a case of, I recommend this because this has this, and these are the things that I like. If you like those things, that might be interesting, but also go and check out someone else's video.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I don't actually watch reviewers anymore. I prefer watching them play a game. I'd rather see the game played out and make an opinion. Or some people, I do. I watch Eric Martin just because his outlook on gaming in general. But there's not really too many out there that have the same taste as me. I don't think. Like Joe Eddie did for a time, but then he went off to war gaming and all that. You know, we've grown apart. I used to watch you and you did some stuff just because, you know, it's newer, it's entry level stuff, and that's what I was introducing people to at the time, you know.
Yeah.
But my taste in gaming's changed dramatically since I started. Which I'm sure everybody does.
Yeah, I think eyes have been opened as well. I mean, as I said, you know, I started wanting to play Hero Quest all the time. And it's like, well, you know, there's this game over here which is about building a farm, and there's this game over here which is about, you know, finding a vampire in a house full of mirrors. So, you know, there's so many great ideas and clever ideas. And it's like, it's a great time. It's a great time, but there's also a lot of people that are con artists or thieves that steal ideas and repackage it as something else. And then there's the companies which will go, okay, we've got you hooked on this. You have to spend another €50, dollars, whatever, to buy this extra bit, which makes the game even better, which we should have included in the game in the beginning. Yeah, and me too. I often like what Tom likes. I just my objection to Tom is his style. I'm more of a Z Garcia fan. Z actually does a really good analysis of everything.
Yeah, I used to watch Z for a while.
I still do. If there's a review by Z and there's a game that I'm curious about, I'll watch Z's video, and that's normally a very good indication.
Yeah.
Cats,
I hit the button.
cat.
Yeah, you hit the button for the lights.
And on the 6th day, there was light, and it was good. It was groovy, baby. It was so groovy. It was like a discotheque.
Do you honestly think I could ask somebody to pay me for this production, Barry? Come on.
I look at my studio. It's gorgeous, isn't it? Hanging wires on the wall, a calendar from Bombay, which is like 2 years out of date. Pictures from my kids, a pamphlet from Folded Space. Sorry, Rob Searing. I'm probably going to order an insert from them at some stage. That's been there for a couple of years as well, and I still haven't ordered it. Actually, it's been there since before COVID. So I picked that up at my last big UK Gaming Expo. So, and I still haven't bought anything. I really need to, because I really need an insert for Lost Ruins of Arnak, which I can see just behind.
Yeah, that's got all but the newest expansion in there.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, Kabuki, I know you like a bit of everyone. You're on everyone's channel. If I go to a live stream, you're there.
Yeah, she sleeps less than I do, and I only sleep like 4 or 5 hours a day.
Oh, dearie me. And I tell you what, the worst thing is, I'm playing Cyberpunk 2077, and every time I'm like, I'm driving around, and all of a sudden I go into Kabuki, which is an area in the Cyberpunk world. And who do I think of? And I'm like, oh, she must live around here somewhere. Where's her house?
She's everywhere. It's the bot. All right.
Did that answer the question? I don't know. Was there a question?
I forgot what the question was.
Are we babbling? It's the Barry and Barry Board Game Babble show.
Oh, that would never end. Yeah, I'm stoned half the time. You know how long?
Yeah. Well, you could be stoned and I could be drunk. I can try and empty my wine cellar, which will never be empty.
Never. All right. How do you feel about Think and Dead games?
Sorry, how do I feel about
Think and Dead games? Like a box cover is smashed or something. Yeah. Does that?
We spoke about this last week on Boom.
There's something about it, but
yeah. No, I don't care. I mean, again, we were playing Defenders of the Realm the other day, and my wife was like, "What's this? These bubbles?" And like on the top of the box is the print on top has bubbled. So it was like that when I bought it. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, it doesn't.
The game works. It doesn't care. I mean, it's I could say that about my wife. Yeah, why is these bubbles on the side here? As long as you work, I don't care.
Yeah. It's all custom.
Sleep is for the weak. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you've already answered some of these questions in the babbling.
Yeah. Go on. Say them anyway. I might find a new tangent.
Yeah.
I might go back to Conan loving with dogs.
No, leave Conan alone. Poor Conan.
I'll pick on someone else then. I'll pick on those Dark Soul figures.
Dark Soul.
Yeah. That's
all right,
so good for.
Have you ever got into a quarrel with your wife playing games?
Possibly. I cannot recall.
In public.
In public.
In public.
Yeah. Code names. It's not really a quarrel though, really. It's kind of like you just take the piss out of each other because they didn't get the word that you were aiming at, and you're like, for fuck's sake, you watched the film last night, you should know that bloody the word nuclear when I say Oppenheimer, whatever, you know. God. Who do you sleep with? Because again, that's just the fun of the game. And then when you swap partners, you know, that sounds so wrong. But when you swap partners and you're playing with your mate's wife and you kick their asses because for some reason you see more eye to eye than you do with your actual partner.
And
you know, you say
afterwards.
Yeah. But that's just the way it goes. But there's no point in arguing about a game.
I don't think me and Jen, I don't think we have. We don't really argue much, but I've had the Carcassonne discussion. That's actually one of the questions. It was you know how you could muscle in on somebody else's territory.
Mm-hmm.
We've had this. That was a quarrel. That was something. It wasn't to me. It was just like I said to her, "If you do this, I will destroy you in this game." And that was the end of it to me.
Yeah.
But it bothered her a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, again, everything is lighthearted with me. I try to be lighthearted. There are, as I said, there are moments when my blood boils. When certain things happen, like AP players taking forever to take their turn, even on their first turn when they've just learned a brand new game. Just fucking move. You got 3 options. Move, attack, or reroll. Just do one of them.
Whatever. Absolutely. Yeah.
But the arguments are very, very few and far between, and they always end up with laughing or with someone smiling, you know. But when we do play, it is a game that we love playing. And a game we play really, really head to head to win it.
Right.
And that's when I love gaming the most, is like when you know a game almost inside out and your opponent knows the game inside out and you're really pushing yourself to maximize your points or maximize your strategy. And that's when I feel great. Even when I lose, it's like, well done.
Yeah.
You're more than just a pretty face, my wife. You're a pretty face and a few bumps on the side, like that box of Defenders of the Realm. Oh dear, Kabuki, your boy then threw a boggle game across the room.
Wow.
That's got to hurt because they normally come in tins.
Oh, they were stuck in Sandy. Yeah, that sucks.
No.
I'm sure playing Boggle constantly for 3 days would drive me nuts too.
Yeah. That surprised me, Kabuki. You got like a whole collection of boggles. And there I was thinking you got like a 5,000 board game collection. You could have thrown any other game.
They couldn't find it. It was dark.
Just boggle. Boom.
We're going to learn Boggle. That's it. Damn
it. Yeah, they were actually playing Settlers of Catan, but it was a boggle box that went across the room.
That's actually the one game that I really don't play because I've had a couple bad experiences with it. I've only played it a handful of times, then I've had bad experiences with it most of the time. I ran it because I started with gamer people, I think. I've always got that one who will not give up a resource. I'll just choke the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, that's when you got to choke the game as well then. So when they ask for something, you choke them. Now you've mentioned it, that's a game which boils my blood from time to time.
Good time.
Like in the first half an hour, if you're not getting any resources and your villages are on the 8s and the 6s, and the 12s are coming up and the 2s are coming up, and everyone else is getting stuff and building stuff, and I get to the point where it's like, for fuck's sake, can we play with the fisherman rule? So for those of you who don't know what the fisherman rule is, apparently there's an expansion that if you don't get any resources on your turn, you take this little fish tile. And when you have 2 fish tiles, you can trade them in for any resources of your choice. And I like that rule because it keeps the game going.
Right.
But we haven't played with that rule for a long time.
Yeah, there's not many games I dislike, but that's one of that I'm choosy on.
Yeah. I like playing it. It's Azul, which again just annoys the hell out of me, because you could be planning the best strategy ever, and you can still have your ass kicked by a novice who doesn't know what the fudge they're doing.
Yeah.
And that's happened to me a couple of times. I've taken it to game night. I've taught 3 people to play the game, and every time I end up with like loads in those minus point spaces.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's no fault of mine. And, I was doing the right thing. I picked the right tile, but it was just a case of everyone's in their own little bubble. They're creating their own tiles, and and then it just screwed me over.
Yeah. I don't want to keep you too long. It's what, 10?
That's all right. I'm
it's 11 over there.
I'm popping.
I know. Which Burky Marker horror do you like?
Which Arkham Horror? I've only got the 2nd edition, like yourself. So
I got both, the 2nd and 3rd, but the 3rd's going, I think.
Yeah, I've got Arkham Elder Sign, the dice version, which I still can't play properly.
Yeah, I got rid of mine.
And again, like you, I've got the other one, the Mansions of Madness, which is amazing, but for some reason I can't push myself to play.
Yeah, the newer version with the app.
Yeah, with the app.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
I mean, the
it
app is
hasn't been
amazing.
sleep on years. Yeah, I have an issue with apps in the game, like we were saying before we got on. I think it's that after I got off the trains, I didn't want to touch a computer. Yeah. At the me that gaming was to unplug from electricity in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, I prefer the 2nd. It's got quite a bit of flaws and it's showing age, but
it definitely shows its age. It's very Ameritrash, very kind of clunky, but it's so exciting.
Yeah.
Never knowing what monster is going to come out, and never knowing when a portal's going to open somewhere, and never knowing if you're going to find the right item or have enough money to get the item. You can have a strategy one time for one character which works but doesn't work for another, and it's very, very hit and miss luck. I mean, you can have a game which lasts 3 rounds, or you can have a game which lasts 300 rounds.
I'm surprised. Galaxy Trucker is another one. That infuriated the hell out of me.
Does it?
Yeah, just because you can't do anything at the second half.
But that's the fun of it, though. I think, like, you're slapping bits of wood together, and then you're chucking it in the water and see how far your boat floats. That's what it reminds me as a kid. We'd play poo sticks. From Winnie the Pooh. Everyone grab a stick, get on one side of the bridge, throw it into the water, and then go to the other side of the bridge to see whose stick comes out first. Anything can happen. 2 sticks could stick together. There could be a rock in the way. Love it. I love it. I need to play that more. Got the expansion, but I haven't played the expansion.
No.
Well,
Kabuki had a question. Do you have any love for like Go or chess or an abstract game? I guess is what you get.
I do. Well, I've got Onitama, which I love. No plug about Arcane Wonders there. Arcane Wonders. But chess. I do have some. I can't think what I've got abstract. Lumens, which is abstract. It's I've got quite a few. I just can't think of them at the moment. There's Lumens, which is a Queen Games one. It's called something different in English. It's basically you pull these dice faces out of a bag. Everyone's got their own bag, and then it's an area control thing where you can put your number on top of another player's number as long as it's higher, or you choose a new spot and you're trying to get area control. I can't think what the game's called in English. I've got Punto, which is a small card game, which is like Connect 4 but with cards, and it's the same kind of thing where you can put numbers out and you can cover over other numbers which are lower than that number, but everyone's got like the same numbers cards, but they come out randomly out of your deck. Yeah, I do like abstract games. I just, for some reason, know that there's some that I can't even think of, which is really strange. But yeah, I don't have chess anymore. I mean, I was in the chess club at school. Thanks for reminding me.
Oh,
Wednesday after school, playing chess with the nerds. Oh dear, what fun that was. Yeah, and then getting an electronic chess set. Plums it worked. It was like, but no, I do like abstract games. I just can't think of any. I'm looking. I mean, I know there's an abstract game which I recommend highly, but it's got so much theme on it that you don't see that it's an abstract game, but it is an abstract game, and I can't think what it is.
Memories.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get Scott's got a lot of them in the store, the BGG store. Like I said last year, I did that thing, and he sent up. I got a couple of them. It's not something I gravitate towards, but I do like them. Hikito was one of them. I liked Mana. I like that.
I got Corto and Corridor Kid.
Corridor Kid. I didn't play that one. I played Corridor.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah, where you've got the shapes in different colors and sizes. Yeah, and you got to make a line of 4 for your opponent. Love that. Corridor Kid is the same kind of thing. You've got a playing piece. You've got to get across the other side of the board before the other players. But you can either move one space orthogonally, or you can add a wall somewhere on the board, and there's like these little punch holes, and so you create a maze. And so it's like you've got to try not to cut yourself off, but cut off the other players, but not. You can't technically cut off them, so they're stuck in a corner somewhere. They need to have access to get to the other side of the board. So it's a very, very tactile thinking game. Do I move, or do I try and hinder my opponent? The game I was thinking of, which has got an amazing theme and it's an abstract game, is King and Assassins. 2-player back and forth, where one player moves some pieces, another player moves some pieces, and you're trying to achieve your objectives, either try and kill the king or get the king to the castle.
I'll look at that one. Yeah,
definitely recommend it. It's pretty cheap as well, so it's not like a $50 game. There is a collector's edition with minis, but the standees one is really good as well. Glux, thank you.
Deluxe.
No, Glux, Kabuki says, which is Lumens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. BGG up. And look at my collection from the BGG. Because not all my collection is here.
Oh.
Some of it's in my kids' rooms. So, like, I have donated my Dungeons and Dragons board game to my daughter. She loves that. And my son has a lot of games. I've just collected some back. My daughter cleaned out some space. So I've got the Magic Labyrinth, Victor's Castle of 1,000 Mirrors, Monopoly Junior, Dr. Eureka. So I got space here. So I said, I'll take them.
You'll do.
Yeah.
He's hoarding them.
I've got space. And she needed space. She's buying all this manga stuff now. She's at that age.
She's in the manga.
Yeah.
My nephew is. He's been for a long time. He's 20, 21 now. But he's been since he was a kid. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's really strange because in our supermarket, they have like an espace culturel, which is all the books, DVDs, music, computer games, and everything. And they have like a little game section with Double and Uno and stuff like that. But every now and again, they have these big board games, but they're like based on manga. So there was like a Dragon Ball Z one. There was a One Piece one. And I picked up the box and I'm like, my God, the weight of it, the amount of cardboard and crap that must have been in it. I was like, I've never heard anything about this game. I don't know who the publisher is. And it's like, wow.
Yeah. So speaking of that, who's your favorite underrated publisher?
I wouldn't know because I don't watch a lot of media, so I don't know who would be underrated now. Is Fantasy Flight underrated because of their buyout from Asmodee or whatever? I couldn't tell you.
Couldn't tell you.
No, I mean, Arcane Wonders are doing some fantastic games. Again, plugging them accidentally.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I could plug Bombayix. They're doing a lot of good small games. I work for Bombayix from time to time, demoing for them and doing other bits of work for them. Some of their games, it's hit for me. It's personally, it's hit and miss.
Yeah.
But no, I couldn't tell you. I mean, some of the publishers that I've worked with, like Sorry We Are French, I would say that they're it's nice to see them starting to come up in the world and do more games and get a bit more recognition. For sure, La Boîte de Jeu, because I was kind of like there for Sorry We Are French and La Boîte de Jeu. I was kind of like there at the beginning. La Boîte de Jeu. He published a game which is like the first game that I played when I arrived in France. It was a deck builder about vampires, and one player would play the vampire, and 3 other players would play heroes trying to kill the vampire. But it's a deck building like Dominion, and it worked. For me, it worked. But when I talked to him about it, he says he hates that game. But that was like the first game that he published. As the Boîte de Jeu, and then I did some Kickstarters for them. I fell in love with I can't see it now. The worker placement game Outlive, and then obviously there are other games, Knitted Tanker and Malia Lands of Legends, which should be coming out this year. And it's the same again for Sorry We Are French. Emmanuel, who's the owner of Sorry We Are French, he was living in Korea. He started a board game company in Korea called Moonster Games, who bring was it Machikuru? He published Machikuru in French, and he made a fortune from that. And then he moved back to France, and then he set up Sorry We Are French, and he was doing his first Kickstarter. And because he knows a friend of mine, they came round. I cooked them English breakfast, and he demoed this game for me, which was like it's going to be his first Kickstarter, his first game with his new company. Sorry We're French is such a fun company name. And so I have that memory of having Manuel in my kitchen eating my English cooked breakfast. And then we played his game, and apparently he was he used to be a tester for Magic the Gathering. He used to be like a playtester. Yeah, so he would play test all the new cards, and so like some of his games have this Magic the Gathering kind of feel to them. Kairu, I think it was. There's another the one that I was playing. I can't remember what it's called, 7 or 9 or something like that. But I couldn't tell you which publisher is underrated because it's all hit and miss. Sometimes a publisher will find a designer, create a game, which is amazing, and then that publisher will give it the lick of polish that they need, which will make this game stand out above the rest.
Yeah. All right. Well, how about designer? Underrated designer.
Underrated designer.
Or you got the same situation. You don't know who's hot or not.
I don't know who's hot and who's not. It's really hard for me to tell. I mean, many moons ago, I could have said Frederick Henry before his Batman Conan days. Yeah. But I was a big fan of Timeline. Still am a big fan of Timeline.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one.
Yeah. Which is an amazing game. A friend of mine recently gave me The Adventurers, which is his game as well. The kind of is it Deep Blue Sea adventure where you push your luck, see how far you can go in to the temple and collect as much treasure as possible and get out before the temple door shuts. such a fun game. Asteroids as well, which is a programming racing game around asteroids which are moving in space, and so you. Oh. So yeah, I could say he is. Again, the guys from Horrible Guild, Halima Hatch and Lorenzo Silva. I love their games. Not all of them, but I do. They're just, their games are just so out there. Kind of like Czech Republic games. What's his name? Vladimir Shavatel. Yeah. That they're kind of like his kind of designs, but on a kind of like family size idea. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have any personalized gaming accessories?
Yes, of course I do. I work with Burky. So I have a Burky meeple, and I have some Burky cards for Spoils of War.
Yeah, I forgot about all that.
The thing I have, which I treasure quite a lot, is dice towers that my dad made. So when I started making dice tower videos, my dad became very, very sick with a brain tumor. He's had it for many, many years, and he wasn't working. He had nothing to do. He was sat at home. He was bored. He was getting in my mum's way all the time, and he kept asking, Christmas would come and go and see him. And it's like, what do you want for Christmas? I said one day, dice tower. He said, what the fuck is that? So I sent him some YouTube videos of, these people that have built their own dice towers. Someone built this really cool one with self-loading one with Lego. And so he built me a shed load of dice towers. Yeah. So I've got like some meeple shaped ones, a Darth Vader meeple shaped one. He built me a Muppet one. And I've got like a haunted house one. I got a castle one. Yeah.
It's cool.
So
yeah, I started to build one last year. It was a prototype for something that I changed my mind on, but I don't have any, I don't think. Dice towers. No. Yeah, I don't. Never seen the point of them. Just roll them.
Yeah. That's the other thing. After you get a game topper, you don't need a dice tower because you can just roll the dice and they don't fall off the table. Well. Yeah, unless you have 2 or 3 mats on your game topper, and then when you roll the dice, they bounce off the table because the springiness of those mats. Corey Konitska was your favorite, was he?
Yeah, I enjoyed him a bit. He made we were just talking about it. The
Arkham Horror.
No, the other one.
Arkham Horror 3.
No, the other one.
Mansions.
Yeah, he was part of that.
Yeah,
I think he was part of Arkham Horror too. But he was a lot of the Star Wars games before the buyout and all that. He did a lot of that. He was one of my favorite designers at the time.
Yeah.
I think he went on with what's his name? Who used to own Fantasy Flight with their new company. I'm not sure though.
Oh, I can't remember.
I can't. Jessingson? No. Christian
Anderson.
Yeah,
No,
I think
that's
Peterson.
Peterson. Yeah.
I think he went on with him with another company.
Yeah.
But I haven't played any of his new designs.
No. Which is a shame.
Yeah, I agree with Kabuki. Fantasy Flight went downhill before after the buyout. Yeah. They lost their mojo.
Yeah. Well, sometimes.
In my opinion.
That's what happens. That's what happens to us men. You marry us, and that's it. We lose our mojo, and that's it. We just do whatever you want, and not what we want to do. And
we give you our best up front, and then it's all downhill.
Yeah. Sorry, that's not right, but yeah, it's just a joke.
Yeah. So have you ever pushed somebody out of the way to get a hot game at a con?
No.
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 Yeah.
I'm that guy that's like at the back of the queue. He's like, this queue's too long. I'll come back tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I
It's
can
like,
wait.
yeah. Oh, look, there's John Cleese over there. Oh, let's go and get his autograph. Oh, there's too many people. I'll just stay out the way. I don't want to hurt. I don't want
Yeah, I don't like waiting in lines for stuff. Even like going out to dinner.
It's not the waiting. It's the it's the I don't know. It's really how do you explain yourself for something which is subconscious that you do?
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
I don't want to be a pain. I don't want to be like
Oh, okay.
I don't want to be the 100th customer
Yeah.
who gets the very last copy of the game, and that pisses off the guy behind me who's the 101. I'm not gonna, at the end of the day, life's too short. I mean, yeah, I remember those days when like the X-Files came out, the new VHS X-File. Ooh, Omnibus edition came out, and I would go and queue for that at like midnight, and it's like, whoa. And then I'd realize, well, this is a waste of fucking time. I could have waited. I could have waited and got it. I could have waited until it goes on sale. It's like that's my attitude now. A video game comes out, $60, $70. Wow, get it first day and you get an extra character. Woo! Fuck that. I'm gonna wait until it's half price. It's Game of the Year edition with all the expansions mixed in, and maybe not that character. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm the same way with that stuff. I don't have FOMO like a lot of the hobby does. I think that's what that feeds off of.
Yeah, it's fear of missing out. I mean, yeah, there are things that I've missed out on, but it's like, am I, slitting my wrists for it? No. Oh crap, I missed out on fucking that new Batman expansion. No, there's no need for that.
No.
You can't do everything in your life. Life is, you have an infinite amount of seconds and you can only fill it with certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to be a big rock star. I'm not going to be, the guy who, I'm not going to be the guy that takes over Dice Tower when Tom passes on. It doesn't matter. I've got other things that I can do. I can make sure that my kids are great.
Yeah.
I can make sure, that, this community that I live in, all my neighbors all get along and have a great time together and have like street parties, which is kind of what we've done. Very British of you, Barry. Am I really British? Possibly. I'm probably like that with sex as well. It's like, you can't talk about sex here.
No. Your wife sometimes. So, are you considered across the pond being in France? What is that being a Brit on the mainland? What is that considered?
I'm trying to understand the question. Sorry.
Like if a Brit comes over here, they say, "Well, I'm across the pond."
Okay.
If you're a Brit going to France or Germany or where, what are they considered there?
A foreigner.
A foreigner? Okay.
I haven't got a clue.
There's no saying. Okay.
There's no saying. But for me, I'm just like, I'm here living in France, in a very, very touristic part of France, very rural. And when it's tourist season, there's a shitload of Belgium. And so it's like, I'm the one calling these Belgian people tourists.
Yeah.
Get back to your country. But no, I don't think there's a saying. I'm from the north. I'm from beyond the wall. I don't know. That's probably what my friend Guillaume would say. He'd say I'm from the north. I'm a wildling or a white walker.
Yeah. Yeah, we have saying for everything here. Snowbirds, meaning people from the north who go down to the south for the summer or the winter.
Yeah. But the English normally just call things for what they are.
Yeah.
You're a Brummy scum, or you're Pompey scum. There you go. Luke Hector, you're a Pompey scum. But no, I don't know. Soon everything's just going to be called woke, so it doesn't matter. You're from England. You're woke. You're woke. You can't handle your own country.
Yeah, we have a few people here who are they're nationalized now, but they're from different countries, and just the outlook on how they see America and how I see America, or somebody from America sees America, it's surprising me all the time.
Yeah,
they're very much more optimistic about the country than we are.
Yeah. Yeah, when you've been swimming in your own shit for a while, you can't smell it. Yeah. Or you can smell it and you want to smell something different. But I'm the same. I'm not really the same. I hate going back to England. I don't like England anymore. But that's maybe because I'm living in a rural part of the world instead of in a big city.
Yeah, that's a big part.
I'd probably be the same. I'd probably love America if I was living out where Burky lived. Out in the middle of the sticks.
The winters are rough there, man. I don't know.
yeah. And just like looking out your window and seeing deer and bear and raccoons. It's amazing. I love it. I love seeing deer. I mean, I see deer sometimes just behind the houses behind me. But
we have a fox and deer around here. I'm from Philly, this city originally, and then I moved out. This isn't. It used to be rural. Like there's still farms around here, but it's built up a lot since I moved down. But it's the same way. I don't want to go back to that city. I don't have any urge to. But I was actually, when I was at BGG Spring.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of the guys from Spiel, Christoph. We talked throughout the con, but one day he came out right after I smoked some weed, and it was skunky. But we got talking about it, and he's like, he went to California before this. It's the first time he ever smelled it. He said, we don't have skunks in Germany. And I was like, I did not know that. It was like, so how did you identify the smell? Like what? He's like, we were driving by a dispensary in California and I smelled it. And the guy said it was skunk. So I thought that was skunk. I'd never seen it. I just assumed that was a skunk, the smell.
Yeah. He made the assumption that, Jaffa cakes a thing in France. No, they are not. In fact, I don't think I've found it that easy to find anything which is orange and chocolate mixed together in France.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not my favorite combination.
But I don't mind it. It's nice on occasion. Because that was another thing. When we went back for Christmas, my friend said, I've got some Terry's chocolate orange. And Terry's chocolate orange is just like a big ball of chocolate, which when you tap it on the table, it falls apart in segments like an orange.
Okay.
But it's got this orangey taste. It's nice. It's nice. But all the chocolate here is different. It's like in America, all the chocolate there is different. The Hershey bars are like, I heard so much about them. I bought several of them, brought them back home, ate them, and thought, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah, it's different. The Hershey's changed over the last few years, but even it's different than English chocolate anyway. I've had English and Mexican. It's different than Mexican chocolate, actually.
Yeah, Italian chocolate's different as well. It's like
Polish. Yeah, I've had quite a few different chocolates. Yours isn't as sweet by far. There's a ton of sugar.
English is very sweet compared to French. French is very more bitter and a lot more cocoa in it.
Yeah. Here we're heavy on milk chocolate, which is different than the bitter, the heavier chocolates to begin with. But there's a ton of sugar in our chocolate here.
Yeah, probably a ton more. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 99% sugar, 2% cocoa.
Oh,
Do the math.
Did a bunch of stuff you can't, say.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw that they kind of outlawed Skittles.
Yeah,
in America now.
Yeah, they're saying the dyes and the colors are causing cancers or something. Yeah,
they're causing problems with the kids. making them. Was it ADT or something like that? I can't remember.
Oh, is that what I thought it was? The cancer. Oh, they're connected to ADD now.
I think so. I can't remember. I don't know if I watched like a not Jamie Oliver, John Oliver show, or if it was South Park that did it. But yeah.
Yeah, our food's screwed up here.
I know. I've eaten there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me started on the shrimp with Burky.
The shrimp. What's wrong with the shrimp with burger? I don't know the shrimp story. What's going on with the shrimp?
No, it's at Gen Con. He said this place does the best shrimp ever. I was like, okay, let's go. So we go to this. He drags me to this restaurant, and we get a drink, and he orders the shrimp. There's 4 of us. I'm trying to think who it is. His friend is helping us with the stand, and someone else, I can't remember. And this big kind of silver bowl arrives, 4 of them, 1 for each person. And there's like 8 shrimp, big, massive shrimp. I haven't seen shrimp that big, hanging out. And they're hanging out of just like what looks like ice cream, but no, okay. It's not ice cream. It's horseradish sauce.
Oh.
And so like, okay, try this. And I was like, okay. And then I ate it. And all I could taste was horseradish. I was like, where's the shrimp? I wanted to get a napkin and like scrape the horseradish off. But then again, I like horseradish. It's like, I could not taste the shrimp. Goes, these are the best shrimp ever. What? No, not the best shrimp ever. Shrimp tastes like shrimp. Horseradish, this is the best horseradish ever.
Next time I see Burky, I'll bring that up. Yeah, so you don't have cocktail sauce over there? Is that what you don't?
Yeah, we have cocktail sauce. Yeah, but it's not very popular in France.
Oh, okay.
So it's very hard to get in France.
It's kind of a staple here.
Yeah, it's a kind of a staple for me when we go out to a restaurant in England. I'll start with a prawn cocktail, and then I'll have like steak, chips, whatever.
Right.
But yeah, I'm a prawn cocktail guy. I love it. Salad, the seafood dressing, shrimps. But I'm talking about that big.
Right.
I'm talking that big.
Yeah.
And if you ask for a king prawn, it's that big. But I mean, these shrimps were like.
Yeah, that's our normal thing here.
Yeah,
that's almost like this big. Yeah. It's America. Everything's bigger.
Yeah, everything's bigger. I thought, oh, you know what? Last day of the con, I can't eat much. Let's order a salad. Boom! What's this?
Yeah.
Five iceberg lettuces mixed with 22 tomatoes. Is this for one person? Was this to share?
I went through that in Dallas with the BGG con. Like Dallas itself, I'm from the Northeast. It's kind of claustrophobic up here. Yeah. It's where you guys landed at first. Mm-hmm. But out in Dallas, everything's wide open. Dallas itself has to be like 30, 40 miles wide. It's just everything's spread out and huge. Up here, it's all confined and high. Mm-hmm. But the food, the restaurants and stuff, the Tex-Mex meals are like they can feed 3-4 people.
Yeah, I remember in my 20s, me and my cousin went to Florida to Disneyland, and at that age, it was great to have order a steak and chips for like $5, and it'd be like this big fuck off plate, and there'd be so many chips, you could feed 5 people with it.
Come on,
but again, being English, I was obliged to eat everything on that plate, so I did.
You know what you get for $5 at Disney World now? I'll tell you.
Yeah.
1 bottle of water.
But yeah, it was and it's still big. Everything is big.
Yeah, bigger.
And your glass of water is never empty. I could have a glass like that. And if it ever goes halfway down, the waitress would be boom, and it would fill back up again.
Yeah.
It's like, give me a break. I'm going to be pissing all night.
That's the object.
Yeah. That's the object. It fills you up, though. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get your money out of me. If you make sure that I have smaller drinks, I'll eat more. If I eat more, I spend more money.
Yeah, they do that. Iced tea, water, and coffee. They do that.
Yeah.
Just free refills a lot here. Sodas too. Sometimes depends on the restaurant.
Yeah. Come on, stop filling up. I feel obliged to finish it. I'm never gonna finish it. It's like my cellar. I'm never gonna finish my cellar. It's never gonna be empty. Oh, that's what happens when you marry into a winemaking family.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So there you are. I'm an alcoholic,
Alcohol. Yeah,
and I'm
every
not afraid
family's
to
got
mention
it.
it.
My
But
brother.
actually, her family's everyone's an alcoholic.
Yeah,
It was like her grandfather died because he stopped drinking.
mm,
Yeah, he stopped drinking, he got thin, and then he went.
oh,
Sad thing to say, but it was like the alcohol was keeping him alive.
preserved them.
Yeah. That's why I say I'm going to probably be here another 50 odd years.
Maybe I
Preserved.
should start drinking.
Yeah. Any more questions? Or
Nah,
have I exhausted you?
It's getting late already. You're 6 hours ahead of me. It's
I know, but
6 years.
I'm so enjoying myself. Thank you, Barry.
Oh, we can keep going if you want.
Yeah, what is the biggest difference with the French compared to the British? What is the difference? I think it's a bit too late for me to say. I mean, there's obviously differences in food. Again, the proportions of food can be smaller than England, which are smaller than America. Again,
you guys eat more constantly, don't you? Like,
yes,
7 or 8 times a day compared to us.
Yes, or probably for your Thanksgiving. I think I remember talking to Burky about this, but your Thanksgiving, you spend 2 hours eating constantly, but it's like shitloads of mashed potato, veg, meat, veg for 2 hours. Whereas in France, we'll have 6 hours, maybe 7 hours at the table, but it'll be, a little aperitif, so a little sherry or champagne with some crisps or biscuits or, salted snack of some sort. And then it'll be a little salad or maybe a fish starter, so like a little cocktail or some scallops, and then it'll be the meat and the veg, and then it'll be the bread and the cheese, and then it'll be the dessert, and then it'll be the coffee, and all of that is done over a period, as I said, of 6-7 hours. And yeah, that's a family meal. So if even a Christmas meal is like that as well, it's like. But it's long.
Thanksgiving is an odd one out. I mean, that's normally when that's their intent. It's just yeah. But I'm actually they got me with a dietitian here, and one of my things with this is they want me to eat more. I only eat once a day, and then I'll eat like a snack here and there, maybe 2 or 3 snacks a day, maybe. And they want me to eat like every 4 hours. Like, that's not going to happen.
No.
I just can't do that. I will not remember to, first of all.
Yeah. Yeah. It's different. I mean, the problem that I have is eating late. So you'll have your midday meal, but then you won't eat until 8 or 9 o'clock at night. Again, it's very European. So the Italians do the same, the Greeks do the same. And then so you eat late and then you go to bed and then it just sits on you.
Yeah.
And I can't do that anymore. It's just like it'll come back up with a reflex. But other differences, again, it might be just regional. The people here are a bit more open and expressive. Very, very friendly as well, because I live in a village. It's like every time you walk out the door, every time you walk past someone, even someone you've never seen in your village before, there'll be a hello, a bonjour.
Yeah.
And in England, that didn't happen unless you knew the neighbors.
It's It's kind of like that here. When you're outside the city's a different monster.
Yeah.
Always is. But yeah, in the suburbs, well, even here, we're totally different here in the East Coast than we are from the West Coast. Yeah. Well, it's a lot bigger than what they're dealing with, but still.
Yeah. Apart from that, everybody's the same. To be honest, Kabuki, everybody's the same. The Americans are the same as the Indians. The Indians are the same as the Chinese. It's just that we have these different rhythms and patterns.
Yeah.
And we have these different likes and dislikes. We are all the same. But yet people will say that they are better than everyone else, or they will pick on other people just because they can. And unfortunately, that's the state of the world. Yeah. We can't all just get along and say, well, we all piss, we all shit, we all eat, we all sleep, we all have sex. Well, hopefully we all have sex. Just play nicely together.
Play nice. Yeah. My mother used to say that all night. Fight nice.
Yeah.
Fight nice.
Get ready to rumble. What about Americans amuses you the most, or makes you shake your head? For the past 8 years, what makes me shake my head about Americans is how they can make all these films with these super villains, and they're the villain as soon as they walk on the screen, and they watch these films, but yet they can't look at Donald Trump and go, that's a villain. It's like,
yeah.
I'm probably offending Barry because Barry's a Trump supporter, but
yes. No.
But yeah,
there is one in my family.
That's the thing that amuses me, is like, he's on TV so much and he says so much, and you can't see the bullshit that comes out of his mouth. And you can't go, wait a minute, 2 and 2 doesn't make 7. Wait a minute, what's going on here?
With me, I grew up so close to New York that I'd get news from New York about him from like the 80s and 90s. So I knew what he was before he ran for president.
Yeah.
Yeah. But a lot of people don't. They just know him from, The Apprentice or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the same everywhere. I mean, Boris Johnson was the same. It was like, you watch what he says and you think, my God, he's not really there. He's not making sense. Again, he's telling me it's 7 when I know it's 4.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Our political system over here is getting a little out of control. And not only Trump and his shit, but politicians in general. It's getting
tell me about it
over here.
They're acting like kids.
Yeah.
That's what I can't understand. You're acting like kids and you're beefing yourselves up like jocks and geeks. It's like, you're supposed to be leading the country. Lead by example. You're not at high school anymore. Yeah, I'm not religious, Kabuki, but amen.
Yeah. I see it goes in cycles. I mean, America has gone through this before, back in the late 1800s.
Yeah.
It'll go. It'll clear itself out. Hopefully in my lifetime, but we'll see.
Hopefully, Biden and Trump will sit down and play a game of Risk, and one of them will win.
Diplomacy.
Diplomacy. They're both full asleep.
You got a point.
Yeah.
What was the longest game you ever played?
The longest game that I ever played was probably Arkham Horror.
Arkham?
I think I did like a 6-hour stint on my own, with like a coffee break in the middle.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And I did sabotage a game of Twilight Imperium 3.
Did you?
Yes, did. It didn't work because this card come up. We said the game ends now. I was like, that's close. I was close to ending it.
I never played that one. I could never get the group for that.
No. It was like my 4th year here. I just learnt to speak a little bit of French, and so I could understand the rules when they were explained to me. And so I had a 24-hour gaming session with a bunch of French people who decided to wake me up from my tent at midnight to play an 8-player version of Twilight Imperium, which lasted 3 hours. And I would snooze in between turns.
Oh, yeah. That's dedication.
Yeah, that's dedication. But, I didn't understand what they were saying when it was their turns. It was just a case of, I just said to the guy on the left of me, I'm not going to attack you, don't worry. And then I say to the guy on the right of me, don't worry, I'm not going to attack you. And then I did like about 10 turns where I didn't attack anyone, and I just expanded and let them do what they want. Yeah, you can take that bit of land, whatever, that bit of space. And then I woke up one time and I was like, right, fuck it, I'm going to kill him. Had one round of attacks, which made it exciting, and then it was game over. But the worst experience I had at a game was the game Quantium, which on the box says 30 minutes. Yeah. It's a game from Funforge, and it's space combat area control with dice. And just learned it. Well, we were learning it, 4-player game. But unfortunately, we had 2 AP players at the game. This 30-minute game. Okay, I had my friend Guillaum with me, and he said, "Oh, yeah, I'll teach you this game, and then I'm going to go and play Dune." It was like when the Dune got reprinted for the first time after the 1979 version had gone into extinction. He said, "Yeah, okay, I'll teach you this. I'm going to go play Dune, which is a good 2-hour game, and then you can play Dune with me afterwards." I said, "Yeah, fine." So he taught us Quantium. We started playing. He went off to play Dune. He came back after he'd finished Dune. We were still playing. He said, "Okay, right. I'm going to teach these other people how to play Dune." And so he started the second game of Dune. So he was into his 3rd hour, and we were still playing the same game with these 2 AP players who were analyzing every dice, move, roll, card, power. And I was falling asleep, and so was the other guy, the player 4, and we were just taking the piss out of him. It got to the point where it was just like, for fuck's sake, just move, go there. And it came to a case of like, right, come and attack me. I'll let you win. I'm not going to play this card. You attack me and take my land, and then win the game, and then we can go and play something else. But it was like nearly 3 hours just to play a 30-minute game.
I got a 60-second rule. You don't make up your mind in 60 seconds, I smack you in the back of the head.
You can't do that with strangers, though.
Yeah, you can. You just won't talk to them again. Nah, I don't actually. I will mention it, though. I was like, there's only so much things you can do here. Come on.
Yeah. So.
That would suck the fun out of the game. 2 people were like that. One is bad enough.
Yeah. But there was 2 of them, and it was like, oh my god. Got to the second turn, and it was like, oh my god, here they go again. But I've still got the game because I do like it as well. It is fun, and it is underrated. Again, abstract.
Yeah, I did play it years ago.
Yeah, dice moving across. Guys. Yeah, dice moving across a map.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a decent game.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember memories, that we getting old memories shot.
Tell me about it. There's nothing worse than your friends come round and say, "Oh, what game should we play?" And it's like, okay, I want to play that game, and I read the rules last week, but I've forgotten them already.
Yeah. I notice when I make a video, I got to edit them right away, because if I don't, I forget the rules. Yeah. Because I tried that. I tried to make a couple weeks ago and get back to them. That didn't work out too well.
You got to do it Tom Vassell style.
Yeah.
So you got
my longest game was probably the first edition of Mansion of Madness, That became personal. That was like 8 hours for the first scenario. I jumped into that a little too soon in my.
That's with the card as the AI, wasn't it?
No, it was the one without the AI, the original version.
Yeah, it was the cards that were the AI. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you had to use the cards. Yeah, me and Jen, we took a break, let it sit there overnight, came back to it. It was, and I'm like, I know this game shouldn't take this long. What are we doing wrong?
Oh, dearie me.
But the rule books were a little rougher back then too. Yeah, but like I said, I jumped into that a little too soon, I think.
Yeah, and they probably jumped on pushing it out a bit too soon as well, not refining it correctly.
Yeah, well, back then it was just the nature of games. It's they this was 10, 15 years, probably longer than that. That's the original edition. Games were just different back then.
Yeah, it's about 10 years ago.
Yeah, they didn't need all the pretty plastic, as I call it.
Yeah. I remember when it came out, I thought, I must get that game, and then all of a sudden people were complaining about it, and I was like, I must not get that game.
Yeah.
And then the app version came out, and it was like, I must get that game, and people were saying, yeah, it's pretty good. And so,
the app did greatly improve it. Because if you screwed up as the other person, the one playing the cards, you just screwed the whole game. If you put one card out of whack or whatever.
Yeah. It's like my daughter is called Mystery of the Abbey.
Yeah,
because she played that for the first time with all of us, friends and family, and she messed up. She had this card the whole time, and she couldn't see it.
Yeah.
So it screwed the game up. It's like, no, it's got to be so and so here with that, and then it's like, no, it's not. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I've got him.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel about I've noticed games have been getting shorter and shorter without it, as much complexity. How do you feel about that in the hobby?
What, playing time shorter?
Yeah, they're for the most part. You don't have many heavy Euros coming out anymore, or big Ameritrash games for the most part, other than Kickstarters.
That's true. Yeah. Which is kind of good. Because I was thinking way back in the day when the biggest games were Game of Thrones, where it was like you were playing all the 7 factions, and it was like 5-6 hours for a game, and Arkham Horror as well, as I said. That can go on and on and on. I think it's better in a way, because then you're getting like a movie experience instead of a Bible reading in like the longest Sunday school ever. And having the less complexity is a good thing as well, especially for us. As we're getting older, we can't retain these rules.
Yeah.
Thinking of Arkham Horror, it's just like there's not a lot of rules, but there are just like one line of text which is hidden in the rules, which when you fall upon a circumstance, you need to find that one sentence, because you can't remember if you play that card or don't play that card, or if you automatically get to roll the dice before. So the simpler the rules, a hell of a lot better. Obviously you don't want it too simple, because you want something to get your teeth into, some kind of strategy. And again, that's why there's a lot of nice games which mix abstractness with text and powers and asymmetric powers, which gives you that different sensation every time. What about yourself?
I think the quality of games have disappeared or diminishing. We're getting more quantity than quality, but I do see that they are getting streamlined. They're easier entry into them for the most part.
Yeah, I know what you're saying about quantity over quality. As I've said, I've seen a lot of these publishers that publish like 2 games a year, going up to 7 games a year, and it does feel like
they're rushing.
They're doing it just to stay current, to keep their name out there.
Get relevant,
yeah. I mean, Days of Wonder, I think they're still doing like 1 or 2 games a year, which is great.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're not doing anything new. Well, actually, they're pushing out more than 2, aren't they? Because they're doing about 7 different versions of Ticket to Ride. And
there's that. That's another thing with the hobby. I found they keep Portal. They keep remaking 51st State, and Plaid did that with the Dark Card game. A lot of publishers are doing that. They're just making a better version of the previous version, but they're like, it's not like a second edition is coming out every 10 years. These are like every 3-4 years they're coming out.
Yeah, true. And that's when you know that there's a problem with the design, and it's normally with a complicated game as well.
Yeah.
You won't get that with Connect 4.
No,
you might get a Connect 4 3-player version or Connect 4 cube version, but no, it is sad because again, Zombicide is another good example.
Yeah,
they had to redo Zombicide 2nd edition because there were things that weren't working in the 1st edition. But it sold a shitload of money for them. So
still does.
Yeah. But that's the problem. It is a case of fear of missing out. It is a case of I must get this, even if I don't know what it is, and even if I've never played it. I've got to get it. And yeah, that's why conventions are good to go to, because you can just demo and test everything before you buy it. The amount of money I've possibly saved by playing other people's games and at conventions is pretty good.
Sure. Although for me, conventions are a little expensive. It's
that's why I work them. Everything's free.
Yeah, like going to Dallas, that was at least $2,000.
Bloody hell.
Because I'm driving a day to begin with,
Yeah.
And then the hotel and the tickets were probably $1,000, and then we're eating out and all that stuff like that.
True.
Jen likes to buy Bucky souvenirs. It's a convenience store chain down there. The beaver nuggets that she stocked me up with like 5 or 6 bags of them. She does that. If she finds I like something, they almost kill me with it to the point that I don't want to see it. Her mother did the same thing. There was a point I almost gave up Reese cups because of that.
Yeah, that can happen. Yes.
But if I did go to PAX Unplugged, or PAX Unplugged, like I keep saying I'm going to, that would be cheaper because it's in a half hour away, 45 minutes. The tickets themselves are expensive, which I was talking to Scott about that. They're more expensive than BGG spring. And I think they are more expensive than the fall for PAX Unplugged. Scott's is longer, though. So, and Scott doesn't do a daily thing. His is, the whole con. It's all 4 days or whatever.
Yeah.
But I was going to go up for one day, and I was like, that's a little expensive. And then I was talking to Scott, and we did the breakdown, and it was like, yeah, it was more expensive than going to BGG con. I think it was like $45 or $50 a day. I can't remember exactly what it was, but
wow, makes Essen sound cheap.
Because I remembered. Yeah, it was like $40. Because I said to Jen, with parking, it cost us $120 just to get up there.
Yeah,
just to walk in the door.
Wow.
But I get what you're saying though. That's why I specifically want to go to BGG Con spring. Not only that, to see. I knew the building and all with my physical stuff.
All right.
But I went to go back there just to play games, and that's pretty much all I did was play games. With and without Scott and his crew. It's just. I had to stop for Jen to eat, but other than that,
yeah, they are great occasions.
Yeah.
You just got to like swarms of people.
Yeah, see
And
that wasn't the case with Spring.
no,
It's kind of it was more low key than Origins, which I liked back in like 2015, 16, which Origins was only hitting like three or they weren't hitting as many people as they were now.
mm,
Um, I the last time I went to Origins, it was getting crowded, and I can't remember the number they had, but it was up there. It was above 50,000. Um, I never went to Gen Con. I never want to. I don't think it's just too many people, and
yeah,
that's just not a con for me. I don't care what's new and exciting. Uh, but
yeah,
spring was like I said, it was nice and low key, relaxed. Yeah, even more so than the fall one. With the fall one, a lot of the media guys are there and all that. So it's a different vibe. But
yeah. There's a lot of really small conventions around France. I mean, there's hundreds every year, and I used to go to some of them because it was quite calm and peaceful. But now they are just ramming with people.
all right,
It's incredible. The popularity is just like ridiculous. You can't get to a table. You can't move. There are kids everywhere. And I mean, I've been to big ones and small ones, and it's just like the only reason I go is to see friends and just
yeah,
have a chat and just look at the tables and just go, well, that game looks interesting. Well, that game looks interesting, and that's it. I don't spend any money. I just walk around, buy a burger. As I said, chat to people, chat to publishers that I've known, and chat to friends who I've met along the this wonderful road of life. And yeah, that's it. I'll kind of stop going because it's too much of fighting. You get your sword out and you have to hack your way through.
yeah,
Or you got to
yeah.
go with the gaming buddy who's like one of those people who's like a shark, and they know where the empty chair is, and the game is, boom, they're there, and then they're like,
Yeah, I don't think I would find that comfortable.
no. But
Yeah. Well, I'm not big on crowds to begin with. I really don't like people too much. Like, one-on-one, they're cool as a whole.
yeah, French are like that as well. I can't hack thousands of them talking at the same time. One at a time is fine. I can understand one at a time. It's just like, but anyway, I digress. That's the word.
I always do. Like I said. I could be thinking about something, had a totally different thought, and forget what I was thinking about first.
Oh yes. Oh yes. I could be explaining a rule and then wait a minute, is that an elephant? No. But yeah. Oh, not played many games this year.
Did you?
No.
You're
Not
right.
last year either. Since the pandemic, it's been
Has it? We picked up. We played. I played a lot in the recovering for my hands, like pandemic legacy. I've been 19 when all this with my neck started. Then the pandemic, it really wasn't a change of life for me. Like Jen went to work every day, so it wasn't really too much of a change of life. But a couple of years later, we started picking up again. Now we play a couple times a week. Before she didn't want to touch them at all.
Yeah.
She got burnt out from what I was doing before, but that just some point it just fell off her radar. Even at the recovery stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I had a friend who's a very well-known board game reviewer live about half an hour away from me, so I would meet him every week and play games with him. And because he was well known, he would get shitloads of copies of games every week. So I always play something. But he's moved to like the other end of France. My best friend has moved further away as well. So it is a case of just playing with the family. And luckily, the 6-year-old is now the replacement. It's like I take him to school, I pick him up from school, we do his homework, and then he's like, "Play a game." It's like, okay, what are we going to play today? And so it's like, I'm trying to keep myself, occupied because when I look at BGG and look at my collection and then go, oh, games for 6 years old, there's not many there.
No, there's not.
It's Snakes and Ladders.
Mhm.
But City of Zombies, oh, love playing that game. But yeah, at the moment it's teaching him games which are for 10-year-olds and stuff. But modifying the rules a bit so it makes it a bit easier for him. But he's picking up the rules like that, which is great. But it's like, let's play that again. Let's play that again. Let's play that again. Play. I need to stop. But yeah, so
that's good.
Yeah, and I had an interesting conversation with one of the mums while we were waiting outside the school, because she was saying that she wants to learn English, and like the only way that I can teach English is by playing games. So I might start up, special nights with some of the families from the school, invite them and their kids round and teach them games and teach them English.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
I don't know. You want to teach the parent English with the kids running around? I don't know if that would work out.
Both.
Yeah, I don't know if that would work out. Oh, both kids. Yeah, that one. Yeah,
both the kids and the parents. Because the amount of people that come up to you and say, English, our kids need it because it's the future. They're going to get a good job if they can speak English.
Right.
And that's the case. Because most of the businesses in the world deal in either English or
Cantonese or something.
Yeah.
I'm actually. Is that the case in the cities in France? Do they teach English in the cities or no?
Yeah. And again, I've been to Paris a few times. Some friends in Paris, and it's like half the people in Paris speak English.
So it's just the rural areas.
Yeah, it's just the rural areas are less populated by, But then again, it's all the big businesses and the big cities,
Yeah, I never thought we have Spanish here, but our main language is English. So I never really thought about that. On the other side of that, how just the education of it would work. Because here you just learn English, and we have different language. Like when I was in grade school, I started Spanish. In high school, they wanted French or something. I had Latin for other reasons, but mainly it was just English. A lot of kids only know English here.
Yeah.
I think they actually got rid of the other language other than Spanish because that's like the second most spoken language here.
Yeah. Being a kid, it was like, why do we need to learn another language? We speak English. The Americans speak English. The Australians speak English. Most of the world speaks English. We don't need another language.
No.
And then I moved to France.
Yeah. I'm actually watching my niece. My sister married a Polish guy straight from Poland. Like he broken English over here, Polish, and I'm watching my niece learn both English and Polish at the same time. And it's confusing the hell out of her and me, but she's getting it.
Yeah, they pick it up pretty quick. I mean, I've been speaking to my son in English, but he rarely spoke to me in English. He would speak in French.
Yeah.
And so we'd have this conversation where one's speaking one language and one's speaking another. But now he's like, because I speak English all the time, all the conversations we have are almost all in English. Even though they're like, kiddie shitty things like you smell.
Yeah. Of course.
And again, in France, it's changed. I mean, when my wife was a child, you had to learn German, not English, German.
Why was that?
Why was that? Why did the French have to learn German, not English?
Your wife's not that old, is she?
But no, at that time, the education system was German was your second language. Spanish or English was the third language.
Okay.
Yeah. But now it's like jumped. So it's like English, German, Spanish, any other language you want.
That's, huh. Yeah, I never really thought about it. It's especially that part with the German thing.
Yeah.
I actually just seen. I knew a guy who jumped over there during World War II. A couple
Uh-huh.
guys, and I was watching this YouTube channel that does history stuff, and he's over in uh the Battle of Bastogne, the Battle of the Bulge. Um, and the guy I knew, Babe Heffron, uh, he jumped in the 101st.
Hmm.
And on Christmas, they got this letter from the nuts letter from the high command. I sent around it to try and boost morale on Christmas Day. Babe kept that and brought it home, and he wrote on the back of it, it's December, it's cold, fierce fighting, something along that lines, and he hung it
Yeah.
up in his room, in his living room. And later on in life, I met him, and I was helping him do something, and he showed it to me. Here, when he died, his family donated some of his stuff to the Gettysburg Museum, which I didn't know. And it got back to Bastogne, this letter that he had with him then in the foxhole that he was getting shot at.
Right.
And I just looked at it, I was like, holy shit. I haven't seen that in 20 years.
Yeah. It's amazing. The things that other people experience.
Yeah, he wanted me to go over there back in the 2000s, right after that Band of Brothers series came out.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But I just couldn't. They went over there for something. It was something with I didn't have a passport. It was the timing of it. But it was cool talking to him. Like he didn't talk about it much until this Band of Brothers came out. Um, Once in a while he would, but most of them guys just buried that and moved on with their lives.
Yeah.
But I was talking to him about like the attention he got, and he's like, "Well, it's a free beer everywhere I go, but yeah."
Yeah. Yeah.
But he was saying how he started to pick up German just out of necessity.
Yeah. You do.
And some of that was with the games. He'd play with the war prisoners or something like that, and try and understand them.
Different time.
Yeah. He said he was uncomfortable with all that fame and all that. He was like, with us, it was a lot of nothing, and then a bunch of all hell breaking out. It's like we just did a job. We were told to jump, we jumped. We were told to shoot, we shoot.
Yeah. I was told to make a video. I made a video, and then all of a sudden, there's people who go, "Oh, the video's great! Oh, can I have your autograph?"
Yeah.
Are you board game garbage? Yes, I am. Compared to someone like that.
Nah. To him, he didn't see it like that. I mean, till the day he died, he really did.
Yeah.
Him or Bill, or like I had uncles in there that were in the Pacific and some were in Europe. They didn't. One of them, it fucked him up real bad. He was an alcoholic the rest of his life, but the other ones, it was what it was.
Yeah. Just
not like today
a
where
pothole in the road.
Yeah. It's not today where they glorify and all that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of medal handling out for mediocrity. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well done. You ate a whole packet of Smarties. Here's a medal.
Yeah. There is a.
Yeah.
The military itself has changed. I was talking to a guy when I went off hunting who was in the Air Force. He was actually stationed out by Atlantis out there with the missiles, the nuclear missiles in Dakota. But he was saying like they can't curse at people anymore. They can't. Everything they're getting. The new recruits are basically dictating how the Army runs things now with sensitivity, and I'm like,
yeah.
You're training these people to go to war. Sensitivity is not going to be on the
your opponent's side. No,
no.
They're gonna want to fuck you over mentally, physically, and
yeah.
And
I don't blame them because they're looking at you like the enemy. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
But he said, I took early. He's saying he took early retirement because of that. He's just I don't understand my military anymore.
No.
But
It's yeah.
it's a strange world. But I'm sure every generation said this.
Yeah, exactly that. Oh, I remember when I used to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and have to dig my house out the hole and walk in the fields for 22 hours a day and collect carrots with just my teeth, and then come back home 16 hours later after a 10-mile walk on my knees, just to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and do the same thing again. If you tell kids today about that, they won't believe you.
Yeah. Nothing happened before they were born.
No. It's Oh, I remember when I had to read a 52-page rule book just to learn how to play this game. Oh, I just click a button. There you go.
Yeah, I started doing that the board game arena. I played a couple games with Scott to get used to it.
Yeah.
It's okay. I still prefer the physical version. Yeah.
There's nothing that beats face to face. There's nothing that beats physical. There's nothing that beats the ambience. Whacking on a CD, or having your kid run around the table screaming, "I'm a winner! I'm a winner!" Or playing naked and being totally distracted by your opponent.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, Barry. Gotta take advantage of what you can.
Or getting high off their fumes. I think I'll move over here.
Smoke gaming with me. Just
oh no, my piece fell off the table. Oh, does that mean it's dead?
Have you ever done that? Drank so much playing, you got you couldn't you didn't know what you were doing.
Have I done anything and didn't know?
You got so drunk playing board games, you were oblivious to what was going on.
No, not yet. No,
not yet. It's a goal.
I've got so drunk that I missed filling up the glass and poured it over the board game.
Oh wow, that's pretty drunk.
A few times, or I've knocked a glass over, because again, big champagne flute.
I don't think I got that big. I came close. I did game with the Secret Cabal guys for a while, like I said, but them guys could drink. But I was always, because it's so far away, I was always weary with the drive. That's kind of freaky though. Driving home in the middle of nowhere at night, listening to like a Arkham Horror story or something out in the middle of a cornfield.
I've done that again. Rural places here, it's just like, it's horrible. The one souvenir I have which really freaked me out was I'd done a concert somewhere in the New Forest in England, and I was driving home, and driving through the New Forest is, because it's protected land, there's no street lights, there's nothing. It was pissing down with windy rain. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. After you finished your concert, you've packed your equipment away, and I was driving back in this rickety van that I had, and I was listening to my new Peter Gabriel album, and I loved it because it was like these lulls in the music, and it gets really loud, and then it goes around. It's like listening to classical music. It gets loud, and it's beautiful, and it just. With this storm going in my face, with me not being able to see the road, and with this music really, really intense, I had to stop. I had to stop the music. I said, "Sorry, Peter, I'm gonna have to stop you now." Where's the ABBA? And so I was like looking through my MP3 player at the time. I was like scrolling through. Where's ABBA? I need something happy. I'm not gonna make it home otherwise. But you never know when a deer is going to run out in front of you, and it's like, someone's going to come up your ass.
The woods are always fun.
And again, the older you get as well, your eyesight is not so good at night. There was a time I used to love driving at night, and now I can't. I'm shit scared.
I noticed that the other night. I drove. It snowed here, which is like 4 or 5 inches. It was the first time in a while. So I took my car out to learn how to drive in the snow with it because it's got this automatic shift thing. I never played with it.
Yeah.
And it was just people don't know how to drive anymore. I know that, but it was interesting.
People think they're indestructible.
Yeah, but I noticed that my night vision's getting bad. Like when the lights hit me, it's getting bad.
Yeah, you can't see anything.
Yeah.
And then when they're gone, you can't see the road.
Yeah,
you can't see your headlights.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah, but that never bothered. Like I've been in blizzards, all sorts of stuff up here, removing snow and working in the trains. That never bothered me before. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm only 45. I'm falling apart.
I'm sorry, Barry.
It's all right. Maybe you should be the real Barry. I'll be faded away soon.
Yeah. But I'm falling apart at the moment as well. So it's like every year there's a new ailment.
Yeah.
Every year.
You don't believe them old people when you're young.
No, and you wonder why we're grumpy. It's like, get off my leg, it fucking hurts. No, don't touch that. That's broken 7 times.
Yeah.
What did you say? I can't hear you because of all that loud music you've been playing.
Yeah, I'm grateful for that. My hearing's not bad. I thought with all the construction, the compressors in the trains and all that, I thought it would be shot, but it's not as bad as I thought it would be.
Yeah, I've been lucky until recently, and then my ears are just gone, and it's like I'm doing my dream job, and now you're giving me this bloody hissing noise just to distract me.
Yeah.
And at the moment I think I've got an infection because it's like water in my ear, and it's muffled in my left. So doctors, see if he can syringe it out, or I don't know. I've tried suctioning it. I've got the Hoover out. No, it's not coming out. No.
Explains a lot. You're missing a couple brain cells.
Huh? What'd you say? Breathe block. Freight trained. Freight trained. Oh God, what's that? Star crazy. I should be saying pillow. That's a film I got to get on DVD. I miss that film.
Yeah.
I wonder how politically correct it's not.
Well, Jen just threw my dinner on the table.
Okay. I'm sorry.
So I guess that's a hint for her telling me to go. It's not your fault. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed talking to you. Yeah. It's just a time difference, a little bit of a pain with us.
Yeah, I apologize.
Yeah, I can't. Do you normally get up when you come on the boom? Do you normally get up that early?
No. As I said, I've had back problems.
Yeah.
And so I woke up and I was stiff, and I tried to turn over, and the amount of pain it took, it just, that was it. I couldn't go back to sleep, and I tried to get up, and because the pain had just kicked in, I felt unstable as I stood up. It was just like my legs, I could feel my legs, but my back was just like weak, and I could feel like my body falling forward, and it's like I propped myself up against the window, and it's like I can't go back to sleep. So I know what, I'm going to go downstairs. I played a couple of hours of Cyberpunk, and then I thought, it's 4:00. I wonder if the Alaboom's going.
Yeah, I was going to say, normally people don't get up at 4 a.m. for us. I hope not. If they do, there's something wrong with them.
It's not deliberate. It's a case of getting old. And
yeah, I know the back shit very well.
Yeah. It's either the back, or I've got pins and needles in my arm because the tennis elbow and golfer's elbow, or I've just vomited in my mouth because of the reflux, or I need a pee because the bladder's starting to get a bit thingy, or my wife's snoring too much, or I've just snored and woke myself up, or
so you're like me. Something wakes you up, you're up forever. Okay.
Yeah. It's very, very hard to roll over and go back to sleep.
Yeah, I'm like that. And if something like I said, I normally only get 4 or 5, but if something wakes me up, I'm up. Even if it's 2 hours. Yeah. For at least 6 hours.
Yeah.
Usually.
And luckily, I make my own hours so I can sleep when I want.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
But well, it was Kabuki will have to decide if you're garbage or not. She's joined us here. Or
she's still with
Glamour.
us.
Yeah, she's a bot. She's everywhere. Everywhere.
Kabuki bot.
So she says you're far from garbage, which is good because I changed it to glamorous and I forgot again.
Yeah, I'm far from garbage. I am shit.
That ain't right.
I am excrement, which has just come out of the human centipede.
Oh. So
PG rating.
Oh, I don't care about that. Like I said, this is me.
Yeah.
I cursed like a truck driver who was a sailor at one time. It's
yeah, and I curse when it's funny.
So if somebody is watching this and wants to see your stuff, where would they see you at, Barry?
Oh, good question. Plugging myself, I'm not good at. So if you are on Spotify or iTunes or whatever, you can find the Board Game Podcast, which is Burky and Badger's Board Game Babble, which I don't have a graphic of. Or you can look up me, Barry Doublet, or as my band name, The Balance of Power, and you can find all the board game soundtracks that I've done there. Also on YouTube, music of Barry Doublet. There's also my website, which is The Balance of Power on Bamboozle. I can't remember what my website's called. I think it's called The Music of Barry Doublet as well. Yeah, so there's that. And as I said, YouTube Burky and Badger, Facebook Burky and Badger, BGG. I can't forget BGG. That's why we're together. BGG.
Today's its birthday. It's 24 years old today.
Who? Oh yeah, BGG is 24 years old today.
2 days, the 22nd.
Yeah, you can find us on Board Game Geek Guild 2248.
Ooh. You got anything coming up?
Yes. Apparently today the Divinis app is up and running for the game Divinis from Lucky Duck. Okay. If you are a Kickstarter backer, there you will find all the wonderful music and sound effects which I've created. If you bother to turn the fucking volume up while you're playing the game, I'm sure you haven't, as many people do. And later on this month, the 7th Citadel soundtrack should be available to be streamed everywhere: YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Deezer.
Cool. Very good.
And apart from that, you can find me on Sirenscape. Making at the moment, I'm making a soundtrack for the RPG for Universal Soldier. And then it's back to some Paizo. Is it Paizo? I can't remember. It's not Pathfinder. Oh, I can't remember. I've got another adventure that I've got to do as well. And probably jump onto some D&D adventures, making music and sound effects for those as well. So go.
Keep yourself busy. That's good.
Yes, making noise and going deaf.
You can get a custom hearing aid. Yeah. Blue one or green.
Yeah, I hope not. I'm just waiting for the day that it just disappears, which ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
But at least I got my back pain to take my mind off things, or my stomach burning acid, or my knees. Yeah, there's always something.
Yeah.
And your stomach's probably rumbling because your dinner's just off camera there somewhere.
Yeah, we're having pierogies tonight. Yeah, kielbasa pierogies. She's half Polish. Yeah.
And you're half Irish.
I said that I'm all Irish.
You're all
Irish, Scott Irish. Yeah. I was saying that to my great uncle who married a Polish woman. I was like, "You started this. You infiltrated the family with this. It's me, my brother, my sister, one of my uncles, and him." I was like, "You started the invasion on this."
You never know. Well, go and grab yourself a Guinness, my friend.
Yeah, well, I can only drink one or two of them. They're a little heavy.
Oh, me too. They're very heavy, but they're well worth it.
Yeah, they are.
And I'll bid you good day.
You too. Well, good night for you. I'm sure I'll see you. You know, in the booth.
Yeah. When back ache kicks in, I'll be there.
So for Kabuki and whoever else may watch this, thanks for watching. Apparently Barry is not, or is Board Game Glamorous. Keep forgetting to change your name. And we'll see you next time.